Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook, Changing Life and Career. I planted the world tree at the beginning. Chapter 1. Soaring Dragon Empire, Cloud River Province, River Sun City. River Sun City First High School will hold its career transition ceremony today. Thousands of senior high school students are about to officially enter their professional careers. The formation used for the ceremony has already been set up. In the center of the formation stands a cylindrical pillar that is about 10 meters tall, emitting a faint white light. Over 1,000 senior high school students stand on the square, their emotions ranging from excitement to unease, and some feeling indifferent, ready to slack off. Chen Yu gazes at the mysterious, ancient, and majestic career transition formation, filled with anticipation. Having transmigrated for 16 years, he has gained some understanding of this world. Before the distant ages, this world already possessed technological advancements far surpassing Earth in his previous life. However, just as humanity was preparing to step into the interstellar era, the game world descended and assimilated the entire blue star. After turning 16, people can undergo career transition and obtain a professional attribute panel. By killing monsters, completing quests, and clearing dungeons, they can gain experience points and level up. Powerful professionals can do anything, from flying in the sky to moving mountains and filling seas. They can even control the power to slaughter gods, changing the world with a wave of their hand. Of course, the arrival of the game world did not only bring benefits, but also gave humanity the opportunity to become transcendent saints. Along with the game's arrival came gods, demons, endless hordes of monsters, and players from other civilized worlds, all coveting the bountiful flesh of the blue star. Countless predecessors fought bloody battles to carve out a space for humanity in this new world. On the square, an old man with white hair steps forward, causing a stir among the students as they cast admiring gazes at him. The old man is Zhang Tianming, the principal of River Sun City First High School. He is also a level 204th stage professional elemental mage, rumored to have directly killed demons from hell. Zhang Tianming presses his hands down and slowly begins to speak, his voice gentle yet commanding. Dear students, I believe there is no need for me to say much at this moment. What you should have learned, you have already learned in the past 4 years. The path ahead requires you to walk it yourselves. Whether it is a glorious life or a wasted one, it is your own choice. I declare that the career transition ceremony is officially beginning. After speaking, Zhang Tianming departs. 5 formation mages, each at least level 100, step forward and evenly occupy the 5 corners of the career transition formation, forming a pentagram. In an instant, the career transition formation radiates a brilliant light. The teachers leading each class, with solemn expressions, guide their students towards the career transition formation. Chen Yu remains silent as he walks among the crowd, feeling not only excitement but also a hint of nervousness. In this world, career transition is much more important than the college entrance examination in his previous life. It is not an exaggeration to say that career transition determines one's entire life. Career transition cannot fail, but professionals are generally divided into 2 categories, combat and non-combat. Combat professionals make up about 10% and are the backbone of the Blue Star's human population. Non-combat professionals make up 90% and require a significant investment in the early stages to achieve success in the late stages. If one successfully transitions into a non-combat profession, those without a wealthy background can only fade into the crowd and waste their lives. Chen Yu's family conditions after transmigrating are not very good. His parents died early due to adventuring. His sister has some strength, but she is still in university, and the specifics are unknown. The remaining assets in the family are not enough to support him becoming a powerful non-combat professional. Old Chen, what are you thinking? Are you afraid of transitioning into a successful non-combat profession with your grades? An optimistic and cheerful voice comes from behind Chen Yu. The speaker is named Li Wei, a sociable character and one of Chen Yu's few friends. You know, grades and career transition don't have much correlation. Chen Yu smiles bitterly and shakes his head. Indeed, after transmigrating, Chen Yu relied on his adult mentality and exceptional perseverance to achieve excellent academic results, often ranking first in his grade. However, the type of profession one transitions into has little to do with academic performance. There are many top students who transition into non-combat professions. Yes, yes, yes. But I feel that your worries are unnecessary. Looking at the history of our school, less than half of the top 10 students in each grade transition into non-combat professions, right? Li Wei says with a playful smile. This is true. Chen Yu smiled and felt slightly calmer. Indeed, among the high schools he attended, the probability of top students transferring to combat professions was higher than 1 in 10. However, there is one point that needs to be clarified. This situation is not due to academic performance. One high school itself is the best high school in River Sun City. Most influential families will send their descendants to one high school. And in a small city like River Sun City, the proportion of combat professionals who hold power and wealth is much higher than that of lifestyle professionals. There is a certain correlation between occupational adaptability and genetics. In other words, if both parents are combat professionals, the probability of their children transferring to combat professions will be higher. This influence is not absolute, but it does exist. In this lifetime, all my relatives are combat professionals, so it seems that my probability of transferring to a combat profession will also be higher. Chen Yu felt that as a transmigrator, he couldn't be so unlucky as to transfer to a lifestyle profession, right? It's not that lifestyle professions are bad, but they require a lot of money. People from ordinary families find it difficult to achieve anything without a large amount of initial resources. The activation of the transfer formation is successful. Students whose names I call, please come forward and touch the pillar of origin to complete the transfer. Zhang Tianming's voice rang out again. Number 1, Song Wirui. Upon hearing Zhang Tianming call out the name, a young boy stood up from the first row on the right and walked towards the transfer formation. The students who were close could clearly see that Song Wirui's hands and feet were trembling slightly, indicating extreme nervousness. The distance between them was only a little over 10 meters, and no matter how nervous he was, he couldn't delay adjusting his mindset for much longer. So, Song Wirui closed his eyes, made up his mind, and quickly ran to the side of the pillar of origin, pressing his hand against it. A white light enveloped Song Wirui on the pillar of origin. A few seconds later, his attribute panel was generated. Profession: Warrior. Ha ha ha, I did it. I'm a combat professional. Song Wirui laughed wildly, just like Fan Jin passing the imperial examination. As the first transfer student, he was under tremendous pressure under the gaze of the crowd. Song, you can go down now and don't affect other students' transfers. A teacher maintaining order patted Song Wirui's shoulder with a smile. Obviously, this kind of situation was common during the transfer ceremony, and the teachers had a lot of experience in dealing with it. Whether the students who successfully transferred were happy or sad, it could be understood. Yes, I'm sorry. Song Wirui came back to his senses and quickly ran back to his class. Congratulations, Principal Zhang, a great start. A formation master arched his hand towards Zhang Tianming and said with a smile. All professionals are the same. It's not considered a great start. It's not like it's a hidden profession. Zhang Tianming shook his head, but the smile at the corner of his mouth betrayed his joy. Both combat professions and lifestyle professions can succeed. But combat professions rely much less on resources in the early stages, so the probability of success is much higher for students from ordinary families compared to lifestyle professions. Even in a world where everyone transfers professions, the majority of families are still ordinary, so how many lifestyle professionals can obtain sufficient resources in the early stages? Therefore, most students who transfer to lifestyle professions are almost sentenced to death. Warrior, it's a common thing. I thought it was a hidden profession. You're so happy. Some students in the audience were full of envy and whispered. Hee hee, not good enough. Warriors may be common, but they are still combat professions. Can you guarantee that you will transfer to a combat profession? Someone immediately retorted. The person was immediately speechless. Indeed, warriors may be common, but they are still combat professions, a 1 in 10 existence. As long as they don't die prematurely, they will definitely achieve something. Next, Lei Gaojun. Principal Zhang Tianming ignored the students' discussions and continued calling names. Lei Gaojun, who was called over, immediately stepped forward. His condition was much better than Song Wirui's. The two were in the same class, with Song Wirui being at the bottom of the class, while Lei Gaojun consistently ranked at the top in every exam. Although in terms of probability, Academic performance does not determine one's career in life or in battle. It does not prevent students from believing that grades can determine their future careers. This is also the result of the school's intentional guidance to make students value cultural learning. With a flickering light, the job change was completed. Occupation: blacksmith. How is this possible? How could I be in a life occupation? Lei Gaojun's face turned pale. Classmate, a life occupation is also a profession, and it can also shine with your brilliance. The teacher next to him comforted. Thank you, teacher. Lei Gaojun left the job change formation in a daze and returned to his own class. Don't be discouraged, being a blacksmith is a highly sought-after life occupation. Maybe in the future, I'll rely on the equipment you forge to make a living. Song Wirui patted Lei Gaojun's shoulder and consoled him. Thank you. Lei Gaojun forced a smile in response. Due to his excellent academic performance in the class, Lei Gaojun used to look down on Song Wirui. But once the job change was completed, their positions and identities were instantly reversed. Song Wirui could now comfort this loser from a position of superiority. Next, Wang Wei, Li Zongping, quote. The job change ceremony continued without pause for anyone's joy or sorrow. Lao Chen, what occupation do you want to change to? Li Wei patted Chen Yu's shoulder and said with a smile. I think being a nurse would be good. Then we can form a team with a warrior or a knight girl to level up together. At critical moments, a mouthful of healing can capture a girl's heart. Ha ha ha. Any combat occupation will do. Chen Yu took a deep breath. You know, my family background is not wealthy, so I have to rely on myself for everything. After speaking, Chen Yu continued to look at the job change formation. At this time, the job change ceremony was already halfway through. About 300 people had completed their job changes. Among them, the number of combat occupations reached around 50, which slightly reassured Chen Yu. However, Principal Zhang Tianming had the opposite reaction. His mood gradually became heavy. Although the proportion of combat occupations in this job change was pleasing, it was too ordinary. Most of them were basic occupations like warriors, archers, and knights. Not to mention hidden occupations, there wasn't even a single variant occupation. Seeing the next name on the list, Zhang Tianming couldn't help but tense up, and his voice became louder. Next, Su Miaoyu. After a moment, a confident and beautiful girl walked into the job change formation. Principal Zhang, is there anything special about this child? The formation master beside him noticed Zhang Tianming's nervousness and asked with a smile. She is the second-ranked student in our school and comes from a family of professionals. If anyone has a chance to change to a hidden occupation this year, it would be her. Zhang Tianming clearly had high expectations for Su Miaoyu. The students in the square also shared the same view as Zhang Tianming. Look, it's our school flower, Su Miaoyu. The second-ranked student in our school, she should at least be able to change to a variant occupation. I think she'll change to a hidden occupation for sure. Hee, I hope she changes to the worst life occupation. That way, I might have a chance to get close to her. I think you're daydreaming. You should save your breath. What kind of family does she come from? They have abundant resources. Even if she changes her career, her future achievements are beyond your reach. That's right, you don't think Su Miaoyu's family doesn't have the money to provide her with the resources she needs to grow, do you? Li Wei looked at Su Miaoyu, who was entering the career transition formation, and winked at Chen Yu. Look, your Yu is going up. If she really changes to a hidden profession, won't you feel a lot of pressure? What does it have to do with me? Chen Yu sneered. Instead of caring about others, you should think more about yourself. Chen Yu always ranked first in academics, while Su Miaoyu was always second. Su Miaoyu was beautiful and was praised as the school's flower, while Chen Yu was recognized as a handsome guy. With all these factors combined, it was inevitable that rumors about Chen Yu and Su Miaoyu would spread. In reality, Chen Yu and Su Miaoyu had very little interaction. As they spoke, Su Miaoyu had already placed her hand on the origin pillar. In an instant, the light in the career transition formation intensified. The origin pillar emitted a metallic sheen, and a grand column of light slowly condensed into a huge sword-shaped illusion in the air. The next moment, everyone present, whether they were students or teachers transitioning careers, heard a clear sword hum. What the hell is that? It's because you don't study seriously. That's called law manifestation. It's a phenomenon that only occurs when transitioning to a hidden profession. So, Su Miaoyu has transitioned to a hidden profession. Of course, can there be a phenomenon without a hidden profession? Quote. After a moment, the huge sword-shaped illusion turned into a stream of light and rushed into Su Miaoyu's body. Profession. Sword immortal, hidden. A hint of joy flashed across Su Miaoyu's face, but she quickly concealed it. She raised her head, overflowing with pride, and provocatively looked down at Chen Yu. I may not be as good as you in academics, but that's just academics. In this world, achievements ultimately depend on one's profession. What kind of performance can you have at the career transition ceremony? As a member of a prestigious family of professionals, being surpassed in academics by a student of common birth was undoubtedly a shame for her. Moreover, there were rumors in the school that she and Chen Yu had an ambiguous relationship. She had always regarded Chen Yu as a rival and a target she must surpass, and these rumors were unbearable for her. Now that she had transitioned to a hidden profession, she could finally hold her head high. As long as Chen Yu didn't obtain a powerful profession, those rumors would naturally be debunked. Following Su Miaoyu's gaze, most of the students shifted their attention to Chen Yu. They speculated whether Chen Yu could transition to a hidden profession and whether he was worthy of Su Miaoyu. Su Miaoyu's admirers even wished for Chen Yu to transition to a trash profession, to fall from grace and never have a chance to be compared to Su Miaoyu again. Hee, congratulations. It's no wonder President Zhang has produced another student with a hidden profession. The formation master smiled and repeatedly bowed to Zhang Tianming. Where, it's all the student's own efforts and luck. What does it have to do with this old man? Zhang Tianming also smiled uncontrollably, but he still humbly said something different from what he meant. President Zhang, excessive modesty can be seen as arrogance. Ha, I'm just speaking the truth, just speaking the truth. After Su Miaoyu returned to the queue, Principal Zhang Tianming continued meticulously reading the roster. Over 100 more students completed their career transitions. However, it seemed that all the luck of the students from Class 1 had been absorbed by Su Miaoyu, as there were no more mutated or hidden professions, and even the proportion of combat professions decreased significantly. Next, Chen Yu. Upon hearing his name being called, Chen Yu, who was nurturing his spirit with closed eyes, took a deep breath and walked towards the career transition formation. As Zhang Tianming passed by Principal Zhang Tianming, he cast an encouraging and hopeful look at Chen Yu. Chen Yu did not stop, but walked straight into the transfer formation. The formation master standing next to Zhang Tianming glanced at Chen Yu and said to Zhang Tianming, "Is this child also a seed player from our school?" "Yes, he is the top student in his grade at our school," Zhang Tianming admitted without hesitation. "Principal Zhang, I don't mean to dampen your spirits, but you must understand that grades are one thing, and a profession is another," the formation master said. Zhang Tianming looked at Chen Yu's back and whispered, "In terms of talent and family background, he may not be as good as Su Miaoyu, who comes from a family of combat professionals. But this child has always been able to surpass Su Miaoyu in terms of grades. His perseverance in studying is even admirable to me. If he has a good profession, he will surely achieve something in the future." "Is that so? Then congratulations to Principal Zhang for cultivating two outstanding talents this year." The formation master smiled and said no more. In fact, he was somewhat surprised in his heart. As the principal, Zhang Tianming had been teaching and nurturing students for many years. What kind of genius had he not seen? There weren't many students who could receive such high praise from him. At this moment, a strong light suddenly burst out from the transfer formation. The formation master and Zhang Tianming turned their heads at the same time. They saw that on the pillar of origin, which was as white as jade, a lush greenery filled with vitality was flourishing. Fresh branches sprouted from the stone pillar. A phenomenon. It's a variant profession. Zhang Tianming was overjoyed. Professions can be divided into two categories, combat and non-combat. But based on rarity, they can also be divided into ordinary professions, variant professions, and hidden professions. Ordinary professions make up the majority of professionals and don't need much explanation. Variant professions are evolved from ordinary professions, maximizing certain strengths to the extreme in terms of development potential and power, far surpassing ordinary professions. Hidden professions are even more rare and evolved from variant professions. If variant professions are 1 in 1,000, then hidden professions are 1 in 100,000. When a variant profession is transferred, a phenomenon that fits the characteristics of the profession will occur on the pillar of origin. When a hidden profession is transferred, it will condense the law manifestation of heaven and earth. In the transfer formation, Chen Yu looked at the dreamlike greenery around him, and his anxious heart finally calmed down. No matter what, he would at least have a variant profession. He had obtained the ticket to the top of the professional pyramid. After a moment, the phenomenon turned into light spots and merged into his body. The professional attribute panel was complete, and Chen Yu quickly chose to open it. Name: Chen Yu. Profession: planter variant. Level: 10%. Strength: 12. Agility: 13. Constitution: 15. Spirit: 20. Professional passive: planting space LV1. Open a portable planting space, which can nurture plant life. Each time you transfer, you can designate a specific plant common level as your own, allowing it to mature directly. Skills: accelerated growth LV1. Slightly increase the growth speed of plant life. Plant enhancement LV1. Increase all attributes of plant life by 10% for 100 seconds, with a cooldown of 500 seconds. Planter: Chen Yu's face darkened slightly. Planter is indeed a mutated profession, and also a combat profession. However, according to research, planter evolved from the life profession of farmers. Its professional characteristics are more inclined towards farming rather than combat. Among the many mutated professions, planter is known as the cannon fodder factory. Due to the passive nature of the profession, ordinary planters generally choose plants that can nurture subsidiary lives as their main plants. The main plant matures instantly in the planting space and can give birth to a batch of subsidiary lives for combat. Unlike summoners, the strength of planters' subsidiary plant lives is relatively low, often requiring a group effort to defeat an ordinary small monster of the same level. And after consumption, they must wait for the main plant to gestate again, with a long interval. The key is that cultivating plants for combat as a planter requires a large amount of various resources. It can be said that planter is a life profession that can go to the battlefield, but its combat power is not as strong as ordinary combat professions. Just then, the attribute panel in front of Chen Yu suddenly flickered. Immediately after, an additional attribute appeared. Talent: absolute enhancement, unsurpassable level. Designate an object for absolute enhancement, which includes but is not limited to life, items, skills, talents. Note: this talent has a special cooldown mechanism and an extremely long natural cooldown time. Once activated, it cannot be changed. Please use with caution. This is my Goldfinger. Chen Yu immediately understood. In this world, after changing professions, professionals will awaken a talent. The content of the talent includes myriad manifestations, which may enhance combat power, accelerate growth, or be some kind of special means. After the profession change is completed, the profession will appear in the profession change formation, but the talent is hidden. If the profession is the outer garment of a professional, displayed on the surface, then the talent is the underwear of the professional, absolutely not easily shown. The level of talent is divided into ordinary, rare, epic, legendary, and mythical. As for unsurpassable level, Chen Yu had never heard of it. But it is obvious that unsurpassable level is definitely beyond mythical level. Absolute enhancement, judging from the literal meaning and the outrageous grade, should be able to strengthen something to a very powerful level. Should I directly enhance this talent itself? Or forget it, who knows what the effect will be after enhancement? If it doesn't increase the number of uses and instead goes into cooldown, that would be embarrassing. The cooldown time for the talent is extremely long, which means this opportunity needs to be carefully considered. Chen Yu fell into contemplation. The scope of absolute enhancement is very broad, almost everything that can be thought of can be enhanced. But at this stage, considering maximizing benefits and long-term gains, it is better to enhance the profession-related aspects. Chen Yu tried to directly enhance the planter profession. However, the feedback from the absolute enhancement talent was, the profession is a comprehensive concept entity, which includes profession attributes, talents, passives, skills, equipment, related items, and other categories. If enhancement is to be carried out, then the entire profession system will be enhanced, affecting all planters in the world. Correspondingly, the enhancement effect will be greatly reduced. Chen Yu is not a selfless saint. How could he use this precious enhancement opportunity to enhance the entire planter system? So, he could only refine the target. The core of the planter profession lies in its passive ability. All the attributes and skills of the profession undoubtedly serve this passive ability. Therefore, Chen Yu directly targeted the profession's passive ability, planting space, for enhancement. In the next moment, the attribute panel fluctuated again. The original profession's passive, planting space, disappeared, replaced by a dazzling new line of text. Profession passive, unsurpassable sacred ground. Open an unsurpassable sacred ground, and the plant lives planted in the unsurpassable sacred ground will be greatly enhanced. Each profession change, one plant can be designated as the main plant, which will undergo a sublime transformation and mature instantly. With the completion of the strengthening, the planting space connected to Chen Yu's consciousness underwent a tremendous transformation. Originally a small dark space of over 10 square meters, it turned into a sacred land at least 1 square kilometer in size, filled with bright mysterious light and an inexplicable mysterious aura. At this moment, a vast and ethereal painting suddenly unfolded before Chen Yu's eyes. Chen Yu seemed to see a sacred and vibrant mystery. A lush giant tree rose from it, traversing the chaotic void, with each leaf representing a great thousand world. A brilliant and enchanting sea of red flowers paved a path to the afterlife. Countless gods and demon saints stepped onto it in confusion, unaware of their origins or the way back. A sacred azure lotus swayed and radiated light in the sacred land. Within its budding flower bud, it seemed to nurture the chaos of the heavens. It's done. Awakening from the illusion, Chen Yu felt joy in his heart. However, he still needed to obtain some plant life seeds to test the power of the unsurpassable sacred ground. Immersed in his own world, Chen Yu suddenly felt someone patting his shoulder. Looking up, he saw Principal Zhang Tianming with a regretful expression on his face. Chen Yu, first of all, congratulations on your job change and mutation. In the instant Chen Yu looked up, Zhang Tianming's regretful expression turned into an encouraging smile. Perhaps this path will be more difficult, but the teacher believes that you will never give up, right? Just now, when Chen Yu remained silent, Zhang Tianming thought he had suffered a great blow, so he spoke to comfort him. Thank you, Teacher Zhang. Chen Yu expressed his gratitude. In this life, Chen Yu's family conditions were not good. His parents passed away early, but Principal Zhang Tianming, as the principal, cared for him greatly and provided much help. Chen Yu, come to my office after the ceremony is over. Zhang Tianming hesitated for a moment and said to Chen Yu. Chen Yu was taken aback, then nodded and left the job change formation, heading towards the class queue. The job change ceremony continued. But now, almost no one paid attention to the next job changer. The gazes of the entire school's teachers and students were almost all focused on Chen Yu. The top of the grade with this level. Planter. Haha, let's see if he still has the qualifications to be aloof in the future, and how he can compare to Su Miaoyu. There were those who mocked and taunted. A mutated job. It's a pity it's planter, otherwise with this child's temperament and perseverance, his future achievements will definitely be extraordinary. There were those who sighed with regret. What are you laughing at over there? What's wrong with being a planter? At least he doesn't have to worry about food and clothing. It's so good for him. There were also those who envied. Chen Yu calmly returned to the queue, as if the thousands of gazes had nothing to do with him. Coincidentally, it was Li Wei's turn to be called. Li Wei, who was about to say something to Chen Yu, suddenly had a gloomy expression. Even though this kid was usually optimistic, he was extremely nervous at this moment. Relax, whether you stick your neck out or shrink back, it's all the same. Chen Yu smiled and said to Li Wei. I wanted to comfort you, but how did it become you comforting me? No, it's just that you're so good at comforting people, right? In Chen Yu's laughter, Li Wei walked into the job change formation with a disgruntled expression. After a beam of light, the job change was completed. Occupation. Shield Warrior. Li Wei returned to the queue with an unpleasant expression on his face. Combat occupation, isn't that great? Why are you so down? Chen Yu asked, puzzled. Great my ass. Li Wei's mouth twitched. Shield warrior, isn't that just a pure punching bag? Look at the knight next door. Although he's also a meat shield, at least he can charge. And he's handsome. The white knight in the hearts of the squishy girls. Li Wei. At this moment, a short-haired, spirited girl poked Li Wei's back. Zhao Tiantian, what's up? Li Wei turned around and asked. Next week, the school will open a new beginner's instance. Let's team up. I'm a mage with high output. The girl said. And me, I'm an archer. Another girl from the neighboring class chimed in. Oh, and me, I'm a priest, with a healing talent. I have a lot of healing power, a timid girl approached. Chen Yu took a glance and realized that this wealthy girl was definitely not lying. Her healing power could surpass anyone's expectations. Not only the girls, but the male classmates also eagerly wanted to team up with Li Wei. Li Wei had to put in a lot of effort to handle them all. What the heck is going on? How did I become so popular? Li Wei wiped the non-existent sweat off his forehead and asked in confusion. It's because you don't take classes seriously. You're clueless, Chen Yu said with a smile. In a professional team, the main tank who can stably withstand damage and protect teammates is the absolute core of the team. Indeed, in a professional team, the tank is the core. Especially a shield warrior, who can protect teammates and is even more popular than a mage. After all, who wouldn't want a reliable teammate who can stand firm and shield you from fatal blows at critical moments? The class transfer ceremony was coming to an end. Different classes of professionals gradually formed their own small circles. Combat professionals were busy forming teams. Life professionals were looking for relevant life professions to establish mutual assistance agreements. For example, farmers and chefs, farmers and pharmacists, miners and blacksmiths, and so on. Li Wei was also busy chatting with a group of combat professionals. After the class transfer ceremony, Principal Zhang Tianming announced the end of the event. The professionals with their small circles left in groups of 3 to 5. Chen Yu followed Zhang Tianming and went to the principal's office. Come in, sit for a while, I'll be right back. Zhang Tianming opened the door, let Chen Yu sit on the sofa, and then walked out. After a while, Zhang Tianming returned to the office and placed a wooden box in front of Chen Yu. Chen Yu opened the wooden box and saw 5 seeds inside, as well as neatly arranged crystals. These are seeds for nurturing plant life fairies, including 1 seed for a fairy tree, and 4 seeds for combat plants. The crystals are fire attribute magic crystals, Zhang Tianming said. Fairy tree. Chen Yu looked at Zhang Tianming. The fairy tree can be said to be the most sought-after type of ordinary plant life. Because the fairy tree has no attributes, it can give birth to different tree spirits based on the energy it is fed. Correspondingly, the price is also very expensive. These are my investment in you. When you become strong, you have to repay me, Zhang Tianming smiled. Even if I, an old man, die, I'll entrust you to take care of it for future generations. Take them back and cultivate them well. Join a team for the instance next week. Strive to form a fighting force and achieve good results in the college entrance examination. You should know that the resources you can obtain in university are incomparable to high school. Your path is difficult, and as a teacher, I can only help you in the early stages. Teacher Zhang. Chen Yu took a deep breath and accepted the wooden box. Believe me, I won't let you down. When bestowed by an elder, one should not refuse and should remember the favor in their heart. Moreover, what Zhang Tianming presented was exactly what Chen Yu urgently needed. Although unsurpassable sacred ground was powerful, it still needed resources to start. Alright, no need to say more. You can go now. Zhang Tianming waved his hand at Chen Yu. Yes. Chen Yu held the wooden box and left the principal's office. Arriving at a secluded and uninhabited place, Chen Yu couldn't wait to plant 5 seeds into the unsurpassable sacred ground. In just an instant, 5 tender sprouts broke through the soil and grew at a visible speed. The unsurpassable sacred ground is truly extraordinary. Chen Yu was secretly amazed. The attribute panels of the 5 plants were simultaneously opened by Chen Yu. Fairy tree evolving. Rank. Ordinary. Attributes. Effects. Whipvine evolving *4. Rank. Ordinary. Attributes. Effects. The whipvine is also a type of plant with strong combat power in the ordinary level of plant life. However, unlike the fairy tree, the whipvine cannot breed subsidiary life forms and is a type that fights as its own entity. Having planned for its own development, Chen Yu directly designated the fairy tree as the main plant. In that instant, the originally delicate seedling suddenly shot up from the ground, transforming into a gigantic tree with a diameter exceeding 10 meters and a height of several hundred meters. From the trunk, which was dozens of meters above the ground, all the way to the top of the canopy, endless branches crazily expanded in all directions. With just a breath, the entire unsurpassable sacred ground was covered in green shade. The dense and overflowing breath of life turned into strands of green radiance, wandering back and forth in the sacred soil. World Tree. Rank. Supreme Level. Effect 1. Endless Growth. The World Tree will continue to grow, using spatial turbulence, chaotic aura, various types of energy, and more as nutrients, never ceasing. Effect 2. Breath of Life. The World Tree will continuously release the breath of life, nourishing and healing the surrounding creatures. The breath of life will prioritize the owner of the sacred soil space. Effect 3. Primordial Mother. The World Tree will give birth to corresponding primordial spirits based on the absorbed energy categories. Effect 4. In Growth. Effect 5. In Growth. I can't believe it. Chen Yu was dumbfounded for a moment. The fairy tree directly transformed into the World Tree. The rank was still Supreme Level, and it was a rank that Chen Yu had never even heard of. The 3 existing effects were all Supreme Grade within Supreme Grade. The first effect, Endless Growth, meant that the growth of the World Tree had no limits. As the World Tree grew, the other effects would also manifest one by one. Most importantly, the growth of the World Tree would cause the unsurpassable sacred ground to continuously expand. When the unsurpassable sacred ground was just opened, its area was approximately a circular shape with a radius of about 1 kilometer. In just a few minutes, it had already expanded to a radius of 2 kilometers. Other planters had to carefully allocate planting space land to cultivate plants. But Chen Yu had achieved land freedom directly, and it was becoming more and more free. As for the second effect, aside from the effect of nourishing the unsurpassable sacred ground, for Chen Yu as a professional, it was equivalent to a transcendent level health potion with a permanent duration. The third effect was an enhanced version of the fairy tree, providing the owner with combat power through the cultivation of plant-type creatures. At this moment, on the World Tree, a fruit the size of a pomelo, transparent and colorless, had already formed. The fruit was ripe, and as long as it was given attribute energy, the corresponding primordial spirit could be born. Chen Yu placed a whole box of fire-type magic crystals at the roots of the World Tree. The magic crystals were quickly decomposed, and strands of fiery red energy were absorbed by the World Tree. The mature fruit gradually turned red. When it turned completely red, the fruit detached from the World Tree, slowly descending and falling into Chen Yu's hands. Immediately after, a crack appeared in the middle of the fruit, splitting open to both sides. A cute girl the size of a palm stood in Chen Yu's hand. The girl waved her hand, and the fruit shell turned into a fiery red dress, which she put on. Then, the girl looked up, her gem-like eyes curious as she looked at Chen Yu. "Master, is that you?" Chen Yu opened the girl's attribute panel. Original Fire Spirit Unnamed. Tier 1 Color Mythical. Level 1. Attributes: Strength 500, Agility 500, Constitution 500, Spirit 1000, Talents: Fire Elementalization. Enter an elemental state, immune to all physical damage, immune to all fire damage, self-fire damage increased by 500%. Passive: Original Fire Spirit. Reduces the consumption of fire skills by 99%, increases power by 100%. Skills: Flame Incineration, Forbidden Curse, Judgment of Doomsday, Forbidden Curse. Indeed, it becomes increasingly outrageous after reaching the peak. Chen Yu looked at the skills of the original fire spirit, speechless for a long time. There are only 2 skills in total, and they are all forbidden curses. Looking at his own 2 skills, what a bunch of rubbish. Apart from skills, every talent and passive ability is outrageous. And as for attributes, before a normal professional reaches the first transformation, they can reach level 50 and gain 10 fixed attribute points per level. In other words, before the first transformation, reaching the maximum level can only obtain 500 attribute points. But the original fire spirit is born with no attribute lower than 500. Even the spirit attribute is as high as 1000. With the current attributes of the original fire spirit, it is probably comparable to a peak professional after the first transformation. From now on, you will be called Xiao Yan, Chen Yu said. On the attribute panel, the name of the original fire spirit changed from unnamed to Xiao Yan. Yay, from now on, I will be called Xiao Yan. With a name, Xiao Yan happily flew up and hugged Chen Yu's face, giving him several kisses. With just one Xiao Yan being so powerful, if there were more original spirits. Chen Yu looked at the world tree with fiery eyes. It seemed that the majestic will of the world tree sensed Chen Yu's thoughts and transmitted information to him. At this stage, the world tree can give birth to a mature original spirit every month on average. However, if enough energy is provided, this time can be shortened. The source of energy is not just magic crystals. Equipment, potions, items, and so on, everything can be absorbed by the world tree. But I still have to fight monsters. Chen Yu is currently penniless and cannot afford the resources to breed original spirits. He can only rely on looting from monsters. With a thought, Chen Yu left the unsurpassable sacred ground and appeared in the outside world. Entering the true body is also an additional function of the unsurpassable sacred ground. Ordinary planters cannot enter the planting space. Instead of immediately leaving the school and going to the outskirts of the city, Chen Yu first had a big meal in the school cafeteria, then went to the professional supermarket in the school. Coincidentally, Li Wei was also shopping in the supermarket. He was surrounded by several newly transformed professionals. When Li Wei saw Chen Yu, he quickly walked over. "Old Chen, we're going out of the city to level up later and practice our professional cooperation. Are you coming with us?" "Li Wei, wait a moment." A male student holding a whiteboard and a heavy sword stepped forward and said, "If I remember correctly, this classmate should be Chen Yu, right?" "A planter." "That's right," Chen Yu nodded. "Just transferred as a planter, you need to cultivate plants to become combat ready. Li Wei, even if you have a good relationship with him, you can't waste his precious time, right?" As he spoke, the sword-wielding boy turned his back to Li Wei and looked at Chen Yu with disdain. It is well known that newly transferred planters have no combat power. Even if they cultivate plant life well, they are only cannon fodder. On the surface, this boy was saying not to waste Chen Yu's time, but in reality, he was implying that Chen Yu should not overestimate himself and shamelessly join the team relying on his relationship with the team's core member, Li Wei. "Yeah, planters need careful cultivation. Li Wei, you shouldn't disturb them," a girl also stepped forward and said. Well, Li Wei hesitated. It wasn't that he looked down on Chen Yu's combat power, but rather that he had no knowledge of the obscure profession of a planter. He wanted to level up and experience battles with Chen Yu, but he didn't want to delay Chen Yu's important matters. If what his teammates said was true, wouldn't he be doing a good deed with good intentions? "They're right, I really don't have much time," Chen Yu said with a faint smile. Chen Yu had just been thinking about how to refuse Li Wei, but he didn't expect Li Wei's teammates to be so understanding, so he naturally went along with it. His initial fire spirit could cast a forbidden curse from the start. If he brought these people along, he would have to protect them so that they wouldn't be instantly killed by the residual effects of his skills. "Oh, all right then," Li Wei said regretfully. "Then, let's team up next week when the school opens the free beginner's dungeon." After the job transfer ceremony, the school would open a free beginner's dungeon. Inside the dungeon, there were abundant experience and money rewards, far surpassing those from monsters in the wilderness. "Let's see then. You guys talk, I'll go pick some things." Chen Yu neither agreed nor disagreed with Li Wei's invitation and began selecting outdoor supplies. Backpack, water bottle, compressed food, whiteboard armor, and so on. When he went to the cashier to pay, a girl from Li Wei's team suddenly walked over, her expression cold as she whispered, "What Li Wei said earlier was just polite. I hope you understand. Our team is already at full capacity. If you have any sense of shame, don't force your way into the beginner's dungeon and split the experience. If you enter a dungeon as a team, the experience will be evenly distributed. So, no one wants to bring along a burden and lose out on their gains for no reason." "Okay," Chen Yu replied indifferently, not paying any further attention to the girl, and left the supermarket directly. Ordinary professionals may never be able to compare to Xiao Yan, who was born with the unsurpassable talent. Chen Yu, who had obtained the unsurpassable talent, was already on a different level from these ordinary professionals. There was no need to pay attention to them, let alone prove himself to them or hold a grudge against them. Consider yourself self-aware. The girl looked at Chen Yu's departing figure and sneered, then returned to the team. River Sun City was a medium-sized city. Chen Yu took a bus and arrived at the city gate after about half an hour. After showing his student ID, the city guard issued a pass to Chen Yu and handed him a map. The map showed the distribution of monster levels around the city. Recommended leveling spots for each level were marked. Of course, the recommendations were not mandatory. If someone insisted on being reckless and went to high-level monster areas when they were low-level, they would just be throwing their lives away. There were no monsters around the city, but there were many shuttle buses outside the city that led to leveling areas. Chen Yu took one of these shuttle buses and quickly arrived at a suitable beginner leveling area. At this time, there were already a few scattered figures in the leveling area, fighting against monsters. Most of them were in teams, but there were also some confident individuals fighting alone. Little bunny, don't move, I'm coming. A new warrior wearing luxurious white armor raised his axe and swung it at a half-meter-long rabbit. The rabbit was a level 1 common monster called Fangtooth Rabbit, a neutral creature that wouldn't actively attack players. But if attacked by players, it would retaliate. Most newly transferred beginners would find similar monsters to practice on. The new warrior's axe struck the Fangtooth Rabbit's back with a solid blow. However, the Fangtooth Rabbit didn't die. Instead, it became enraged and charged at the new warrior. Thud! With a muffled sound, the Fangtooth Rabbit crashed into the new warrior's chest plate, knocking him to the ground. A first-level ordinary monster, although its attributes are inferior to those of professionals, rookie professionals have no combat experience and can easily be thrown into disarray when facing monsters alone. Fortunately, the attack power of the Longtooth Rabbit is low and not lethal. Although the rookie warrior is in a sorry state, there is no real danger. This is unreasonable. Why does a mere first-level monster have such combat power with low experience? The rookie warrior exclaimed incredulously. The surrounding rookie professionals shook their heads upon seeing this scene. Some people are just low-minded, thinking that the world should revolve around them. Once they encounter something they don't understand, they think the world is unreasonable. It's really laughable. The Longtooth Rabbit is not a hidden boss. Its attributes and attack methods are all clearly displayed. They didn't study seriously and find it unreasonable when they encounter something. What a clown. Come on, let's not be infected by such an idiot. Let's focus on our own battles. In fact, many rookies have experienced this kind of situation. But the vast majority of people can quickly find the right way to deal with it. Thinking that the world doesn't conform to their imagination is just the behavior of a few unreasonable crybabies. Chen Yu summoned Xiao Yan from the unsurpassable sacred ground and pointed at a Longtooth Rabbit. Xiao Yan, eliminate it. Yes, master. Xiao Yan excitedly flew in the air and began chanting an incantation. Majestic fire energy converged towards Xiao Yan. Wait, don't use your skills. Chen Yu quickly spoke up to stop her. If Xiao Yan used a skill, not only would this area be destroyed, but the surrounding professionals would also suffer a calamity. Oh, Xiao Yan reluctantly interrupted her spellcasting. You can perform physical attacks, right? Chen Yu said, try using your fists first. With Xiao Yan's strength reaching 500 points, her physical attack ability should not be low. Alright, I'll give it a try. Xiao Yan flew unsteadily to the side of the Longtooth Rabbit and punched its head. Her size was only the size of an ordinary person's palm, and her entire body was smaller than the Longtooth Rabbit's ears. With hands thinner than a straw, the light punch seemed to have no power. However, bang, the Longtooth Rabbit that was hit flew more than 10 meters away. Chen Yu also received a notification. Killed level 1 Longtooth Rabbit, experience +1. Chen Yu was not surprised by this result. The Longtooth Rabbit's 4 attributes, even when added up, didn't exceed 50 points. Being hit directly in the head by a punch with 500 strength and not turning into a pulp was already the result of data protection. On the attribute panel, the experience went from 0% to 0.1%. In other words, to level up from level 1 to level 2, 1,000 experience points were needed. Killing 1,000 rabbits would not only waste time but also be a waste of resources. Therefore, Chen Yu took out the map and looked at it, directly bypassing the Longtooth Rabbit area and heading towards a higher level training area. In fact, the experience points provided by wild monsters from level 0 to level 50 were very low. Except for elite monsters and bosses, the experience points provided were equivalent to the level. When fighting monsters in the wild, even in a team, the experience points would be distributed according to contribution. Therefore, it was rare to see people leveling up together in the wild. Rookie professionals trained in the wild to familiarize themselves with their professional skills and accumulate combat experience. If they wanted to level up quickly, they had to enter dungeons. The reason why the school did not directly open access to dungeons but instead waited for a period of time was to allow students to accumulate more combat experience and avoid wasting dungeon attempts. After passing through 3 neutral creature areas in a row, Chen Yu finally stopped. Ahead was a grassland. The monsters living in it were at least level 10 wild wolves. Wild wolves were not neutral creatures but hostile creatures that would actively attack professionals. Xiao Yan, let's go. Chen Yu ordered Xiao Yan. Master, are we using physical attacks again? Xiao Yan asked awkwardly. As a fire elemental spirit, she found it inelegant to use her fists to attack. Well, as long as you don't use forbidden spells, there shouldn't be a problem. Chen Yu didn't know how large the range of Xiao Yan's forbidden spells was, so it was better to keep a distance and try. Upon hearing this, Xiao Yan flew towards a group of gathered wild wolves listlessly. The wild wolves noticed Xiao Yan but didn't make any moves. Xiao Yan's size was too small, and she could fly, so she had no attack value for the wild wolves. The wild wolves ignored Xiao Yan, but Xiao Yan had no intention of letting them go. She raised her small hand and pointed to where the wild wolves were. Several ping-pong-sized fireballs condensed between her fingers. This isn't a skill, it should be considered a basic attack. Chen Yu observed Xiao Yan's actions from the side. But can such small fireballs be effective? For a newly promoted mage, if their initial skill is fireball, the condensed fireball would be about the size of a basketball. If they were a variant class flame mage or a hidden class blaze mage, the fireball might be as big as a basin, with even more powerful force. However, before Chen Yu could question it, Xiao Yan's pocket-sized fireball had already shot towards the wild wolves like a bullet. Immediately after, boom boom, the sound of explosions rang out, and fine dust and debris flew in the air. Killed level 11 wild wolf, experience plus 1-1. Killed level 12 wild wolf, experience plus 1-2. Killed level 11 wild wolf, experience plus 1-1. Killed level 13 wild wolf, experience plus 13. Killed level 11 wild wolf, experience plus 1-1. Clearly, Chen Yu's worries were unnecessary. With Xiao Yan's mythical rank and extremely high attributes, even a casual basic attack would definitely be more than ordinary level 10 plus monsters could withstand. Several notifications sounded, adding nearly 60 experience points. Monster experience points were fixed. There were no rewards for fighting higher level monsters, nor were there penalties for fighting lower level monsters like in online games. Where the wild wolves were annihilated, there was a flickering white light. Chen Yu quickly walked over and picked up the dropped items. Wolf skin gloves. Quality: common, white. Level: 10. Class: any. Effect: slightly increases defense when worn. A level 10 white equipment, with no attribute bonuses or special effects. Chen Yu didn't think much of it and directly threw it into the unsurpassable sacred ground, treating it as fertilizer for the world tree's nurturing of the primordial elves. After absorbing the gloves, the progress of nurturing the next primordial elf increased by a tiny amount. It could only be said to be better than nothing. Let's continue. Chen Yu led Xiao Yan to continue forward in the area of the wild wolves. Soon, they encountered another group of wild wolves gathered together. Xiao Yan flew above the wolf pack and dropped several small fireballs. Killed level 13 wild wolf, experience plus 13. Killed level 11 wild wolf, experience plus 1-1. Killed level 11 wild wolf, experience plus 1-1. ... The two explosions of firelight disturbed the surrounding wild wolves. But instead of retreating, they gathered around the center of the explosions. Several wild wolves noticed Chen Yu and charged towards her. Chen Yu calmly stood in place without any panic. In the next moment, Xiao Yan's fireballs exploded among the charging wolf pack. Killed level 11 wild wolf, experience +1-1. Killed level 12 wild wolf, experience +1-2. ... As if receiving an attack signal, the surrounding wolf pack continuously rushed towards Chen Yu. Boom boom boom. Xiao Yan's fireballs kept falling. Each fireball would surely take the lives of several wild wolves. Suddenly, a beam of light rose from Chen Yu. Your level has increased. Chen Yu opened her own attribute panel. Name, Chen Yu. Class, Planter Variant. Level, 2-3%. Strength, 12. Agility, 13. Physical Constitution, 15. Spirit, 20. Free attribute points, 10. Occupational passive. Unsurpassable Sacred Ground LV1. Open an unsurpassable sacred ground. Plants planted in the unsurpassable sacred ground will be greatly strengthened. Each time you change jobs, you can designate a plant as your own plant, which will be sublimated and mature instantly. Skills. Accelerated Growth LV1. Slightly increase the growth speed of plant life. Plant Enhancement LV1. Increase all attributes of plant life by 10%. Lasts for 100 seconds, cooldown of 500 seconds. After leveling up, there are 10 additional free attribute points, but there are no major changes in other aspects. Due to not having significant attribute requirements, Chen Yu has not chosen to allocate points for now. While his own level has increased, Xiao Yan's level has also increased to level 2. Rank, 1 color mythical. Level, 2. Attributes. Strength, 600. Agility, 600. Physical Constitution, 600. Spirit, 1200. Talents. Fire Elementalization. Enter an elementalized state, immune to all physical damage, immune to all fire damage, and increase own fire damage by 500%. Passive. Primordial Fire Spirit. Reduce the consumption of fire skills by 99% and increase their power by 100%. Skills. Flame Incineration, Forbidden Curse, Judgment of Doomsday, Forbidden Curse. Compared to Chen Yu, Xiao Yan's attributes have skyrocketed by 20% after leveling up. The 4 attributes combined have increased by a total of 500 points. In other words, Xiao Yan's level 1 is equivalent to an ordinary professional leveling up from level 1 to level 50. Master, I have become stronger. Xiao Yan cheered and the fireballs in her hand flew out one after another. In no time, the wolves around Chen Yu were completely wiped out. If viewed from above, the entire wolf area would appear blank. Howl. Just then, a long howl of a wolf sounded. Hint, your slaughter has alerted the area boss, Wolf King. The Wolf King has initiated pursuit against you. Hatred will end upon leaving this area. Area boss. Chen Yu's eyes lit up. Area bosses are hidden units and are not within the scope of basic knowledge education in schools. But he has learned about them from some miscellaneous books. In a leveling area, after meeting certain conditions, an area boss will appear in that area. Area bosses have extremely high drop rates and abundant experience points. However, the triggering conditions for each leveling area are different and cannot be compared or referenced. Now, Chen Yu clearly meets the conditions for the area boss to appear and has summoned it. Xiao Yan, be careful, a big guy is coming. Chen Yu reminded. A big guy. Is it a formidable opponent that I can have a good fight with? Xiao Yan excitedly danced around. Killing these weak soldiers has already made her bored. As a fire elemental primordial spirit, she is as fierce as fire and longs for a battle of equal strength. It's possible. Chen Yu's expression became serious. Area bosses generally require around 100 professionals of the same level, with complete equipment and organized command, to be able to defeat them. Although Xiao Yan is exceptional in all aspects, she is only level 2 after all. Chen Yu has never seen an area boss and is not clear about its combat power. One must be fully prepared for everything. In the face of unknown enemies, one must never underestimate them. Therefore, Chen Yu quickly led Xiao Yan to retreat to the edge of the area. If in danger, they can promptly leave and withdraw from the hatred. As the holder of the unsurpassable talent, it would be a joke if he were to capsize in a ditch. A few minutes later, another wolf howl sounded. However, this time, the source of the sound was very close to Chen Yu. Chen Yu looked towards the direction where the sound came from, where there was a low hill. A tall and majestic white giant wolf slowly stepped out from behind the hill. With its dignified and human-like gaze, it stared at Chen Yu intently. The body length of the giant wolf is about 4 to 5 meters, which is roughly equivalent to the length of a small car. Its entire body is flawless white, while the base of its foreclaws is pure black. Beside the boss white wolf, there are several giant wolves that are over 3 meters long, presumably elite monsters. In addition, from all directions, wild wolves continuously rush in to join the White Wolf King's command. Be careful, Chen Yu secretly alerts himself. It's not that Xiao Yan can't defeat the White Wolf boss. The area boss in the beginner monster area is a normal boss, and its attributes should not exceed Xiao Yan's expectations. The key issue is that his owner is falling behind. From the moment he entered the Wild Wolf area, the monster's attack target has always been him. Even if Xiao Yan's damage output is off the charts, he can't generate any threat. After all, she is so small and can fly, like a bird without much meat. The wolf pack would never attack such a unit. Now, Chen Yu is surrounded by densely packed wild wolves, with the Wolf King and elite monsters watching closely. Xiao Yan herself is fine and can continue to slaughter. But she may not be able to take care of Chen Yu completely. The only solution is to use a forbidden spell skill to instantly clear out the wolf pack. However, the casting time for forbidden spell skills is very long, at least several minutes, and it cannot be used in this situation. Should we try hiding in the unsurpassable sacred ground? I'm afraid that won't work. The area boss is a special mechanism monster. As the target of the Wolf King's hatred, once Chen Yu disappears, the Wolf King will also disappear and won't stand there waiting for you to fight another day. Oh, wait a minute. Just now, Chen Yu scanned the unsurpassable sacred ground with his consciousness and suddenly discovered that the previously planted man-beating vine had grown to over 10 meters long. Under normal circumstances, the man-beating vine would only mature to about 7 to 8 meters. How could it grow to this length? Chen Yu quickly checked the attribute panel of one of the man-beating vines. Thorny Vine Whip Evolving. Tier, Rare, Level 2. Attributes: Strength, 78, Agility, 82, Constitution, 102, Spirit, 35, Talents, Bleeding LV1. After causing damage, the Thorny Vine Whip will inflict continuous bleeding damage on the damaged unit. Skills: Powerful Whip Strike LV1, Death Entanglement LV1. Great! Chen Yu was overjoyed. The man-beating vine has evolved into a rare tier Thorny Vine Whip, and its attributes are extremely high. The highest attribute of a normal wild wolf is agility, which is about 40 points, while the other attributes are relatively low, around 30 points, and the spirit is even lower, not exceeding 20. The attributes of the man-beating vine are more than double that of a normal wild wolf, and it may even be slightly higher than that of an elite wild wolf. If Xiao Yan is strong enough to deal with most small monsters, as well as elite monsters and the White Wolf boss, the 4 Thorny Vine Whips will be responsible for protecting Chen Yu and plugging any gaps, which should be able to defeat this boss. Roar! The White Wolf boss on the hill let out a long howl. The wolf pack received the signal to attack and no longer hesitated, rushing towards Chen Yu. Xiao Yan floated in the air, surrounded by countless ping-pong ball-sized fireballs, firing at the wolf pack rushing from all directions like a Gatling gun. Boom boom! Amidst the dazzling flames, countless wolves were killed and injured. Accompanying this were the incessant kill notifications. Killed level 13 Wild Wolf, experience plus 13. Killed level 14 Wild Wolf, experience plus 14. Killed level 13 Wild Wolf, experience plus 13. ... Xiao Yan, you go attack the White Wolf boss and the elite monsters, you don't need to worry about the small fry for now, Chen Yu shouted to Xiao Yan. But what about you, master? Xiao Yan hesitated. As a mythical level creature and Chen Yu's pet, she naturally could tell that Chen Yu's own combat power was not strong. Don't worry, they will protect me. With a thought, Chen Yu summoned 4 thorny vines. 4 vines, as thick as a bowl and over 10 meters long, covered in terrifying thorns, appeared around Chen Yu. They tightly guarded Chen Yu from all 4 directions. But they seemed so weak, Can they really protect you, Master? Xiaoyan shot fireballs while examining the 4 thorny vines. She felt that she could easily crush one of the vines with just her finger. Such creatures couldn't even protect themselves, how could they protect their master? You go. As long as the boss and the elite monsters don't come over, I'll be fine. Controlling the 4 vines, Chen Yu formed a barrier around herself. This way, the charging wolf pack couldn't immediately attack Chen Yu. Even if a wild wolf managed to break through the defense, Chen Yu would have time to react. If things became too difficult, she could call Xiaoyan back and escape, there was still time. Xiaoyan felt Chen Yu's determination and no longer hesitated. She gathered a large number of small fireballs and scattered them around, clearing out a large portion of the wolf pack, then quickly flew towards the white wolf boss. The white wolf boss, being highly intelligent, became alert as soon as it saw Xiaoyan charging towards it. Roar! The white wolf let out a short roar. The wolf pack surrounding it immediately scattered in all directions. Even the elite wild wolves quickly fled. It had witnessed Xiaoyan's attack style and knew that gathering together would only make them targets, so it dispersed its subordinates. Xiaoyan didn't understand why the wolves ran away, but the area around the white wolf boss was empty, which allowed her to focus on attacking the white wolf. Just as Xiaoyan gathered fireballs, preparing to release them, she heard Chen Yu's shout from behind. Xiaoyan, take out the elite monsters first, don't let them attack me. At this moment, several wolves had already rushed towards Chen Yu. The thorny vines swung around, making it impossible for the wolves to get close. The first few wolves that charged forward were whipped and sent flying, lying on the ground with blood flowing, their lives uncertain. However, Chen Yu noticed that 2 elite wolves from the white wolf boss's side were already charging towards her. The thorny vines might be able to defeat individual elite wolves. But once they were entangled by the elite monsters, the other ordinary wolves would find an opportunity to attack Chen Yu. Therefore, Chen Yu could only command Xiaoyan to deal with the elite monsters first. Understood, Master. Xiaoyan quickly adjusted her target and shot all her small fireballs at the elite wild wolves. Boom! After a series of explosions, all 5 elite wild wolves were dead, not a single one left. With the elite wild wolves dead, Chen Yu finally let go of her worries and controlled the vines to defend and counterattack. Roar! The white wolf boss felt frustrated and angrily roared at Xiaoyan, but it didn't dare to make any reckless moves. Xiaoyan was a flying unit, it couldn't attack her from a distance. And it didn't dare to rush forward and attack Chen Yu, giving Xiaoyan a good opportunity to hit it. The white wolf boss stayed still, but Xiaoyan didn't want to confront it either, she simply released a barrage of fireballs. Most of the fireballs targeted the wolf pack, but a few were aimed at the white wolf. The white wolf didn't dare to be careless and quickly jumped back. Boom! The fireballs exploded in front of the white wolf, the strong gusts of wind carrying the dispersed flames reached its body. In an instant, most of the white wolf's fur was burned, turning it into a black and white wolf. One of its front paws was blown off by the residual force of the exploding fireball because it couldn't dodge in time. Huh, so weak. Xiaoyan looked at the white wolf in confusion. This big guy that her master said could fight her head on, how come it didn't even take her probing attack and lost half of its life? And it's supposed to be evenly matched with me. The master's words must have reason. Xiaoyan shook her head, denying the thought that just arose, that the white wolf boss was weak. After all, it was a boss unit with high intelligence. Perhaps it was just pretending to be weak, luring her closer, and then delivering a fatal blow. I absolutely cannot underestimate and act recklessly. Xiaoyan extended her hands forward, forming a dense cluster of small fireballs in front of her. You can't deceive me, it's impossible. Hundreds of fireballs were launched, forming a barrage that enveloped the white wolf boss. The white wolf boss had injured its front paw earlier, and its agility was not what it used to be. How could it dodge such an attack? It could only watch as the fireballs approached. At the last moment, it let out a desperate cry. Boom! An explosion accompanied by a roar and flames stirred up a cloud of dust. At the same time, Chen Yu received a notification from the heavens. Killed level 20 area boss White Wolf King, experience plus 20000. Tisk, this experience is great. When fighting monsters in the wilderness, leveling up depends on bosses. But, Was it resolved too quickly? Is this boss too weak? Chen Yu looked at Xiao Yan floating in midair. No, it's definitely not that the boss is weak, but that Xiao Yan is too strong. A boss that requires perfect coordination from 100 elite level 15 professionals to defeat cannot be weak. It can only be said that as a primal elf born on the World Tree, Xiao Yan's combat power is extraordinary. At this moment, Chen Yu finally had a vague understanding of her unsurpassable talent, absolute enhancement. Even as a subsidiary creature born on the World Tree, a byproduct of the enhanced product, unsurpassable sacred ground, it possessed such formidable strength. What kind of terrifying power would an object directly enhanced possess? Unfortunately, the talent absolute enhancement was already in cooldown and couldn't be used. Chen Yu's anticipation could only wait for the cooldown of the talent, absolute enhancement, to complete before it could be verified. After the White Wolf boss was killed, the wolf pack lost its leader and immediately scattered in chaos. Xiao Yan chased after them for a while, encountering a large number of wild wolves, before returning to Chen Yu's side. Due to the high experience given by the White Wolf and the wolf pack, Chen Yu's level had already reached level 8. Correspondingly, Xiao Yan, who was associated with Chen Yu's level, also reached level 8, with her attributes more than doubled. Chen Yu walked to where the White Wolf boss had died and found a purple treasure chest. Whenever a boss is killed, it will drop a treasure chest. The treasure chests are divided into white, blue, purple, orange, and colorful. They correspond to the guaranteed quality of the items that can be obtained: common, rare, epic, legendary, and mythical. Purple treasure chests can at least yield epic grade items. Wow, Master, are you going to open the treasure chest? Will you get powerful weapons and equipment? Xiao Yan flew down, looking at Chen Yu with anticipation. After all, it was the first time in Chen Yu's life opening a treasure chest, so she felt there should be some sense of ceremony. She had heard before that touching a beautiful woman would bring good luck. Unfortunately, there were no normal beautiful women around now. So, Chen Yu grabbed the mini beauty Xiao Yan and rubbed her vigorously in her hand. Then, in Xiao Yan's bewildered expression, she opened the treasure chest. Congratulations on opening a purple boss treasure chest. Obtained a pair of White Wolf King Fist gloves, epic quality. Obtained detective glasses, rare quality. Obtained wolf fur windbreaker, epic quality. Obtained 30 gold coins. White Wolf King Fist gloves. Quality: epic. Requirements: level 20, strength 60+, agility 60+, warrior class. Effect: +20 strength, +30 agility, attacks cause bleeding damage for 5 seconds. Wolf fur windbreaker. Quality: epic. Wearing requirements: level 20, agility 50+. Effect: agility +20, constitution +20, defense of the equipped part increases. Detective glasses. Quality: rare. Wearing requirements: none. Effect: can use detect skill once per minute to gather information about the target. The greater the level difference, the less information obtained. Both epic equipment are level 20, but Chen Yu cannot wear them. However, the detective glasses can be worn directly. Moreover, this is definitely an extremely practical equipment. Previously, Chen Yu's understanding of monsters came entirely from books and school lessons. When encountering monsters in real life, they could only rely on the appearance of the monsters and the knowledge they had learned to make judgments. When encountering a boss like the White Wolf that they had never learned about, they were completely clueless. After obtaining the unsurpassable talent, Chen Yu's level was already different from that of ordinary students, and the probability of encountering unknown events would be higher. The detective glasses could be considered a timely help. In addition to the treasure chest dropped by the Wolf King, the wild wolf mobs and elite wild wolves also dropped some items sporadically. Most of them were white equipment and copper coins, with only one piece of blue rare equipment. Summing up the gains, there were a total of 43 white items, 2 blue rare items, 2 purple epic items, and nearly 32 gold coins. The gains were not small. In this world, gold coins were a universal currency with strong purchasing power. 1 gold coin equals 100 silver coins equals 10,000 copper coins. 1 copper coin could be considered equivalent to $1 on Earth. 32 gold coins would be equivalent to $320,000, which an ordinary person might not be able to earn in several years. Moreover, the highlight was not the gold coins, but the 2 purple epic equipment. A level 20 purple equipment was worth about 100 gold coins. Weapons like the White Wolf King's Fist, which had additional damage, would have an even higher price. White equipment was worthless, so Chen Yu directly buried them in the unsurpassable sacred ground as fertilizer. As for the blue and purple equipment, it would be better to sell them for gold coins. At this time, the sky was gradually darkening, and Chen Yu did not plan to stay up late to grind experience, so they left the Wild Wolf area and started heading back to the city area. Passing through the forested area of the roe deer, looking at the roe deer leisurely grazing, Chen Yu couldn't help but put on the glasses and use the detect skill. Roe deer, template, mob, level 8, attributes, strength 25, agility 28, constitution 23, spirit 15. A very weak little mob, no different from the description in the books. Since Chen Yu didn't assign any tasks, Xiaoyan was very leisurely along the way. Seeing the roe deer also leisurely, Xiaoyan couldn't help but fly to the head of one of the roe deer and tug its ear. Oh, the roe deer was startled and looked around, but didn't find any creature attacking it. Mischievously, Xiaoyan made a face at the roe deer and then flew back to Chen Yu with a smile. Ahead of the roe deer forest was a mountainous area. The monsters there were neutral mobs, level 4 to 5 wild boars. Fireball, a sweet shout came. Not far away, a flash of fire lit up. Immediately after, there was a chaotic commotion of chickens and dogs. Then, a clear female voice sounded. Lu Pingping, why are you running? Hold the monster. Li Yanran, continue with the spell output. Lu Zixin, pay attention to healing Lu Pingping. Don't panic, don't be chaotic. Ah, I've pulled aggro, quickly cover me. Su Miaoyu felt that today was simply terrible. After changing to the hidden profession Sword Immortal, she confidently organized a 6-person team and went out of the city to level up with the mindset of achieving something big. At the beginning, everything was fine, and the whole team was orderly in the level 1 monster and level 2 to 3 monster areas. After the entire team reached level 2, Su Miaoyu led the team to the level 4 to 5 wild boar area, feeling that the experience points from the white geese were too low. She believed that with her strong output ability, it would be no problem to fight monsters of a higher level. However, as soon as they started attacking the first monster, reality gave her a harsh slap. Facing a level 5 wild boar, the knight in her team couldn't withstand the damage at all. With just one hit, the knight was sent flying by the wild boar. Panicked by losing more than 1/3 of her health, the knight, Lu Pingping, ran away directly, causing the aggro to become chaotic. Su Miaoyu used 2 skills and took off half of the wild boar's health, just one more round and it could be killed. But the monster didn't give her a chance to use her second skill. Under the wild boar's rampage, the whole team was in chaos. She tried her best to command, but couldn't salvage the situation. Even she, a noble hidden profession player, was knocked down by the wild boar using a move called Flat Sand Falling Goose. Although everyone had high-quality equipment and sufficient potions, it was still extremely embarrassing. A mere level 5 monster could make her team flustered. At this moment, a figure walked towards her with the setting sun at their back. The arrogant wild boar saw someone still standing and immediately charged towards that person. Be careful, Su Miaoyu instinctively shouted. The person was alone and not wearing any equipment, obviously not here to level up by fighting monsters. It was very likely that they were a life profession player who came to map the surroundings or gather herbs and mine. The person suffered an undeserved disaster because of their own recklessness, which made Su Miaoyu's proud heart filled with guilt. Quick, save them. Su Miaoyu endured the pain and tried to get up. However, it was too late. The wild boar had already charged in front of that figure. Su Miaoyu widened her eyes, anxiously waiting for her skills to cool down. If the person died directly due to low health, she would feel guilty for the rest of her life. But in the next moment, bang, with a muffled sound, the wild boar was sent flying, instantly dying on the spot. Its entire body was even deformed by the tremendous force. So it was a master. Su Miaoyu breathed a sigh of relief. She stood up, tidied her disheveled clothes, tried to make herself look more elegant, and then walked forward, ready to express her gratitude. After all, it was her reckless pulling of monsters that caused damage to the team, and the other person resolved her predicament. However, before Su Miaoyu could speak, she heard a somewhat familiar voice ringing in her ears. Su Miaoyu, are you guys leveling here? What happened? How did it become so chaotic? Chen Yu looked at the new players scattered all over the place, as well as Su Miaoyu with torn clothes, feeling a bit puzzled. Could it be that they encountered a regional boss that turned a hidden profession transfer player into such a state? But as he looked around, he didn't see the figure of a regional boss. Moreover, as far as he knew, low-level neutral monster areas wouldn't spawn regional bosses. You are Chen Yu. Su Miaoyu looked at the young man in front of her in disbelief. She had been paying attention to Chen Yu during the profession change in the morning. Wasn't Chen Yu's profession a planter? Why did he, a planter, come here? Could it be that he's trying his luck, looking for suitable plant life seeds around? But what happened with that little wild boar just now? That little wild boar still had at least 1/3 of its health left. How did it suddenly get killed in one hit by Chen Yu? There's no one else around, so it must have been Chen Yu who made the move. But when did a planter have such high damage? You see, as a level 3 sword immortal, a hidden profession, with one skill, she can only take away about 1/4 of the health. Don't you recognize me? Chen Yu smiled. Although we haven't met much, we have cooperated a few times. You can't be that forgetful, right? Oh, by the way, you haven't said yet. How did you end up like this? Did you encounter some hidden monsters? Where did the monster run off to? No matter what map it is, there may be some rule breakers wandering around as hidden monsters. The strength of hidden monsters can vary, but their drop rates must be abundant. Chen Yu believed that since Su Miaoyu couldn't handle the hidden monster, it wouldn't be considered stealing the monster if he made a move. I don't know where it went. My team was just scattered, and no one paid attention. Su Miaoyu crossed her arms, her fingers constantly stirring, her eyes slightly raised. Since the person surnamed Chen mentioned hidden monsters, then there must be some. She couldn't possibly say that as a hidden profession player, she almost got wiped out by a level 5 wild monster, right? She couldn't afford to lose face. Moreover, it was in front of Chen Yu, whom she had always wanted to compete against. Tell me where the hidden monster is, and if I catch it, I'll split the profits with you, how about that? Chen Yu asked persistently. I really don't know where it went. Su Miaoyu felt so embarrassed that she almost dug a hole with her toes. Alright, you guys continue leveling up, I'll leave first. Chen Yu felt regretful in his heart. Hidden monsters were definitely a windfall. Unfortunately, Su Miaoyu was stingy and didn't tell him because she couldn't handle it herself. Hey, wait, Su Miaoyu shouted. What? Chen Yu turned around, expressionless. I just wanted to ask about that little wild boar you killed just now. Su Miaoyu wanted to indirectly find out where Chen Yu got such high damage. Hehe, you're not going to make me compensate you, are you? Chen Yu raised an eyebrow. With so many people around, you won't go and find another one yourself. And besides, you guys must have pulled that monster, right? It's not like it came running towards me without any provocation. It bumped into me, so can't I kill it and bring it back for you guys to finish off? After saying that, Chen Yu left without looking back. To be fair, this low-health little wild boar couldn't be blamed on Chen Yu for stealing the monster. It was clearly a case of self-defense. Su Miaoyu opened her mouth, but in the end, she didn't say a word. She knew that Chen Yu must have misunderstood something. But she couldn't clarify this misunderstanding. Was she supposed to humbly explain to Chen Yu, the one who almost wiped out our entire team just now wasn't some hidden monster, but a little wild boar that you kicked to death? I just wanted to ask how you killed the little wild boar in one hit, not that you stole my monster. What a joke. She was a hidden profession player from a professional family. How could she say something so embarrassing? Chapter 11. The Professional Traders Center is the most prosperous place in the entire River Sun City. Most of the shops selling items related to professionals are concentrated in this area. Chen Yu found a shop with a good reputation and scale, and sold 2 purple equipment and 1 blue equipment. The total profit from the 3 pieces of equipment was not much different from the estimated value, bringing him 280 gold coins. He didn't keep the gold coins, but spent them all on buying plant life seeds and a large amount of magic crystals. Back in the school dormitory, Chen Yu immediately entered the unsurpassable sacred ground and fed the magic crystals to the world tree, then planted all the plant seeds. In a short while, all the magic crystals were absorbed, and the progress of the primordial elf's incubation increased by a little over 10%. With the natural growth of 3% each day, the progress of the next primordial elf reached 13%. The newly purchased plant seeds were 20 vines that hit people and 10 poisonous lilies. The poisonous lilies were ordinary grade plants with weak self-output ability, but they could spread toxins and inflict debuffs on enemies. Based on the experience of the 4 vines that hit people before, these newly purchased plants would mature and be promoted to rare grade tomorrow morning. Chen Yu exited the unsurpassable sacred ground and prepared to get a good night's sleep, then continue grinding experience and making money tomorrow. Just then, the door of the dormitory opened, and Li Wei, covered in dirt, walked in. The dormitory in Yijiang School has a structure of 4 rooms and 1 living room. Each dormitory is assigned to 4 students, but each student has their own room. Old Chen, are you here? How is your plant life cultivation going? Li Wei took off his equipment and threw it directly on the ground. It's going well, Chen Yu said with a smile. What about you? Did you reach level 5 today? Do you have it? Level 5. Li Wei's mouth twitched. How is that possible so quickly? I'm still a little short of level 3. Just a little short of level 3. Chen Yu was surprised. You guys haven't been killing rabbits all day, have you? How is that possible? Li Wei looked proud. With our team composition, killing rabbits would be a waste. Rabbits are just for getting familiar with the team composition. After all of us reached level 2, we went straight to kill the big goose. Not to brag, but with me as the shield warrior, we dared to go straight to level 2 and kill the big goose. Most other teams have to reach level 3 in the level 1 monster area before they dare to move forward. Chen Yu pointed to the worn-out whiteboard equipment on the ground and teased, you got pecked like this just by killing a big goose. Go away, what do you know? Li Wei waved his hand in annoyance. Mine is still considered good. Look at Liang Cheng from the next class, his butt got swollen. By the way, when will your plants be ready? How about you join me tomorrow to level up? I heard that as a planter, all you need to do is prepare the materials and use skills on the side. No way, Chen Yu quickly shook his head. If I go and freeload, your teammates will kill me. They're just temporary teammates. Li Wei shrugged. I can always switch to another group. Oh really? Chen Yu raised an eyebrow. Li Big Shot, I see that you have some pretty good girls in your team. I quite like them. What, are you going to deny it after taking advantage of them? Hey, don't even mention it. When it came to girls, Li Wei's eyes lit up. There was an archer girl today, and we even held hands. Progressing so quickly, Chen Yu was surprised. Of course, don't you see who I am? Let me tell you, it went like this. After Li Wei's exaggerated storytelling, Chen Yu guessed the truth. It seems that Li Wei's archer sister attracted hatred and was chased and knocked down by a monster. Then Li Wei went to support her, blocked the monster, and helped the sister up. This is what they call holding hands. I'm telling you, if it weren't for seeing you alone, would I bother coming back? I would have gone to the sister's dormitory to spend the night. Li Wei stopped Chen Yu's shoulder and proudly said, get lost. Don't try to get close to me. I'm not into that. Chen Yu disdainfully slapped away Li Wei's arm. They will be going out to fight monsters tomorrow, and Li Wei is also tired today. He didn't insist on having a late-night talk in Chen Yu's dormitory. They chatted for a while and then went back to their rooms to sleep. Chen Yu also returned to his room, but instead of going to sleep immediately, he entered the unsurpassable sacred ground. Li Wei had just reminded him that he had skills he could use. Accelerated growth LV1. Slightly increases the growth speed of plant life. Plant enhancement LV1. Increases all attributes of plant life by 10% for 100 seconds, with a cooldown of 500 seconds. Because Xiao Yan was too strong, he had almost forgotten that he had 2 skills. The skills he learned before his first transformation can be upgraded every 5 levels. At level 45, he can upgrade them to the maximum level of 10. Chen Yu is currently at level 8, with a skill level cap of 2. However, he has not used any skills yet, resulting in a skill proficiency of 0. Xiao Yan was lying on the roots of the world tree, sleeping soundly, with his body arranged in the shape of the character, Da. Chen Yu directly used plant enhancement on Xiao Yan. Yeah. Xiao Yan immediately jumped up, startled, and looked around alertly. Master, are there enemies? Where are the enemies? Feeling the buff on her body, she instinctively entered a combat state. It's okay, there are no enemies under the world tree. Chen Yu touched her little head with his index finger. Oh, but why did you give me a buff, master? Xiao Yan landed on the ground, tilted her head, and looked at Chen Yu in confusion. Well, I just wanted to practice my skills, Chen Yu explained awkwardly. In fact, other plants can also practice skills. Chen Yu just wanted to confirm whether Xiao Yan could be considered a plant. Now, plant enhancement is in effect. Apparently, Xiao Yan looks like a super small-sized beautiful girl, but she still falls under the category of plants in terms of skill judgment. Then, Chen Yu threw an accelerated growth at a newly planted beating vine. The surrounding life force gathered towards the beating vine. In just a few seconds, this beating vine grew more than a meter long. Wow, Chen Yu was shocked. He had specifically researched the planter's accelerated growth skill. This skill can only be used with various resources. Under sufficient resources, a level 1 accelerated growth can probably make the beating vine grow a few centimeters. To be able to instantly grow more than a meter long like just now, it is probably due to the unsurpassable sacred ground and the world tree. Let's try again. Chen Yu continued to use accelerated growth. After a few attempts, the beating vine entered its mature stage, growing to a length of 7 to 8 meters. Just as he was about to continue using it, suddenly everything went black before his eyes, and a strong dizziness and fatigue overwhelmed him. It felt as if he hadn't eaten or slept for 3 days and nights. I made a mistake. The planter's accelerated growth skill consumes mental and physical energy. Chen Yu's attributes were not high to begin with. After using several skills, his mental and physical energy were completely depleted. Fortunately, there was no danger within the unsurpassable sacred ground, not even mosquitoes. Chen Yu lay directly on the ground and fell asleep. On the world tree, strands of tender green aura floated down, slowly merging into Chen Yu's body. Several vines eagerly extended themselves, competing to absorb a touch of verdant green. As if sensing the vines' urgency, the world tree generously sent down a few faint green threads for them as well. The vine plants excitedly waved their tendrils, devouring the green threads. In the next moment, the green vines began to grow wildly, and within a few seconds, a new tender vine could grow from the roots. These vines varied in thickness and length, eventually intertwining and slowly weaving into a humanoid shape. Due to exhaustion, Chen Yu slept soundly and did not notice this miraculous scene. The next morning, Chen Yu stretched lazily, waking up from his dream. In a daze, he felt like he was holding something in his arms. Opening his eyes, he vaguely saw an elf-like girl lying in his arms. Am I still dreaming? Chen Yu rubbed his eyes and carefully examined the girl in his arms. The girl raised her head, revealing a face made entirely of finely woven vines without any features. What is this? Chen Yu's eyes widened in astonishment. Master, Master! Xiao Yan noticed that Chen Yu had woken up and flew over joyfully. Chen Yu temporarily ignored Xiao Yan and focused on thinking about the origin of this strange humanoid form in his arms. His brain quickly processed the information, dissipating the remnants of his dream, and he quickly realized that he was still in the unsurpassable sacred ground. The unsurpassable sacred ground was Chen Yu's own little world, and without his permission, no external creatures could enter. So, he looked at the humanoid form woven from vines in his arms again. It had a clearly visible head, body, and limbs. But at the end of its legs were entangled tree roots. And at the end of its arms were several thick thorny vines instead of hands. Is this the plant life I cultivated? Chen Yu tried to open its attribute panel. Thorny vine demon evolving. Quality: epic. Level: 8. Attributes: Strength 210, Agility 240, Constitution 300, Spirit 150. Skills: Forceful Whip LV1, Thorny Entanglement LV1. Is this the evolved form of the thorny vine whip? Chen Yu sensed the plant life in the unsurpassable sacred ground. Sure enough, he found that the 4 thorny vine whips from yesterday were gone, replaced by 4 thorny vine demons. Thorny vine demons had a humanoid appearance similar to humans and could move freely with their legs. Their leg roots could be inserted into the ground to quickly restore their health. The vine tendrils in their hands, whether for whipping or entangling, possessed great power. And due to its epic quality, the attributes are extremely exaggerated. Even at level 8, all attributes already far exceed those of a level 50 novice. Even with equipment, it may require several level 50 professionals to handle. The Thorn Whip's evolution into Thorn Demon has greatly surprised Chen Yu. The seed of the beating vine, in just over a day, has evolved into an epic level. This process is completely free range, without spending a penny of resources or wasting a minute of time to take care of it. The Thorn Demon is already very powerful, and it's still evolving. Unsurpassable sacred ground plus the world tree, it's really amazing. In addition to the Thorn Demon, the beating vine and poison lily that were bought yesterday have also evolved into rare quality and have strong combat capabilities. If they were to encounter the white wolf boss from yesterday, Chen Yu only needs to place these plants outside, and he doesn't even need Xiaoyan to take action. He can just sit there and wait for the experience to come in. At this moment, the Thorn Demon conveyed a sense of dependence. It instinctively feels close to Chen Yu, its master. To it, Chen Yu gave it life, making him its creator. It was born for him, fights for him, and he is its only purpose for existence. Ha ha ha, you're amazing. Chen Yu put the Thorn Demon on the ground and patted its head. The Thorn Demon raised its head, conveying feelings of joy and excitement. Chen Yu left the unsurpassable sacred ground and returned to his dorm room. He looked at the time and it was exactly 8 o'clock in the morning. The plan for the day starts in the morning, a disciplined day starting at 8 o'clock. Chen Yu walked into the bathroom after closing his bedroom door to freshen up. Li Wei had already finished washing up, and when he saw Chen Yu, he immediately walked over and said, "Let's go, come with me today. Go by yourself, don't delay my plant cultivation. I'll take you to level up after I'm done cultivating," Chen Yu said to Li Wei while washing his face. All right, I can't persuade you," Li Wei said. "Then, in a few days, the school will open a novice instance. You have to team up with me to enter, no excuses. We'll see when the time comes." Chen Yu felt a little touched in his heart. After he changed jobs to become a planter, everyone in the class avoided him. Only Li Wei still remembered their past friendship and was willing to go against his teammates to help his friend. "Let's go, let's level up." Li Wei opened the door and waved to Chen Yu with his back turned. His teammates were already waiting for him in the dormitory building. As the emperor of the team, they were willing to wait for him. Chen Yu finished washing up and left the dormitory as well. After having breakfast in the cafeteria and packing food for the day, he left the school and took a bus to the outskirts of the city. It was still the same novice leveling spot as yesterday. The Fangtooth Rabbit area was already overcrowded. The awakening ceremony of River Sun City High School was not held at the same time. The first one was at the main high school. Other high schools would set up their own transfer formation after the main high school. After a day, students from several high schools had completed their job transfers. Around River Sun City, there were only 3 novice leveling spots. The level 1 monster area was only so big, and when there were too many people, there weren't enough monsters to go around. Some well-equipped teams couldn't stand the low efficiency of monster grinding and went straight to the level 2 to 3 area. They could defeat the monsters, but without familiar coordination, it inevitably led to chaos. Chen Yu didn't stay in the neutral monster area and went straight through to the deeper area. When passing by the wild boar area, he noticed that Su Miaoyu was leading a team to grind monsters. Pulling aggro, outputting damage, it was all done in one go. In just over 10 seconds, they had taken down a small wild boar. "Your damage output is pretty good." Chen Yu instinctively observed Su Miaoyu and noticed that with just one skill, she could take out about a third of the small wild boar's health. Among the novice monsters, the small wild boar was known for its high health. Su Miaoyu's damage output was definitely higher than the rest of the team combined. The advantages of hidden professions are mainly reflected in their passive abilities and skill multipliers. During the novice period, the attribute growth of hidden professions is the same as that of regular professions. Being able to deal damage far surpassing other professions in the early stages, even with similar attributes, is enough to prove the strength of the sword immortal profession. However, no matter how strong Su Miaoyu is, there are still limitations. Under the same level, a single thorny vine whip can probably kill dozens of Su Miaoyu. Of course, it must be one that grows in the unsurpassable sacred ground, with explosive attributes. Yesterday, when dealing with the White Wolf boss, the level 2 thorny vine whip had around 70 to 80 points in strength and agility, and over 100 points in constitution. The thorny vine whip grown by ordinary planters is not as terrifying. Chen Yu used his detective glasses to cast a probing spell on Su Miaoyu. Name: Su Miaoyu. Profession: Sword Immortal, Hidden. Level: 3. Attributes: Strength 25, Agility 20, Constitution 17, Spirit 13. Talent: Profession Passive. Sword Drawing Technique Preliminary. Skills: Sword Chi Slash, Flow Breaking. Amazing, Chen Yu exclaimed. He wasn't praising Su Miaoyu, but rather his detective glasses. With a single probing spell, he almost exposed Su Miaoyu's secrets. Apart from her innate talent, Chen Yu directly saw her entire attribute panel. Having obtained the information, Chen Yu didn't continue paying attention to Su Miaoyu and walked away. Sword Chi Slash. Su Miaoyu lightly shouted and swung her long sword. A white crescent moon flew towards the wild boar, taking away its remaining health. Alright, everyone take a break and restore your status. We'll continue later. Seeing the monster being killed, Su Miaoyu sheathed her sword. Phew, I'm exhausted. Why do I have to charge ahead and take hits? Knight Lu Pingping complained. I also want to be like Yu, with a sword that freezes the 19 continents. Too bad you're just a punching bag. Who told you to be a knight? Mage Li Yanran said with a smile. Hey, look at that person, isn't he also a student from our school? And he's still wearing the school uniform. Where is he going? Who? Su Miaoyu instinctively looked in the direction pointed by Li Yanran and saw a familiar figure. Hey, probably an alchemist or miner. Lu Pingping said carelessly. Why do you care about what he does? Alchemist, miner. Su Miaoyu could see clearly that the person was definitely Chen Yu. Yesterday evening, Chen Yu also came back from the direction of the high-level monster area and even killed a wild boar in one hit. Could it be that he's going to the area ahead to level up? Su Miaoyu was somewhat puzzled. The area ahead was inhabited by level 6 to level 10 plum deer. Generally, planters don't have the ability to clear monsters in the early stages. Even if they finish cultivating the first batch of battle plants, they still can't handle the plum deer. But Chen Yu is different. He already showed extraordinary damage ability yesterday. Perhaps, he really can handle the plum deer. I want to see what secrets you have. Are you relying on talent or some special plant life? Curiosity aroused, Su Miaoyu directly chased after Chen Yu. Hey, Yu, where are you going? Seeing Su Miaoyu leave the team and run off, Lu Pingping shouted in confusion. To the bathroom, you guys keep grinding for a while. Su Miaoyu didn't even turn her head. There's no bathroom in the wilderness ahead. Hearing this, Su Miaoyu's legs went weak and she almost fell. Angrily, she turned around and said, can't I just go here? Chen Yu's walking speed was not fast, and soon he was caught up by Su Miaoyu. However, Su Miaoyu didn't greet Chen Yu, but instead hung back from a distance. The area of the spotted deer was a forest terrain, with severely obstructed visibility and very noisy surroundings, causing Chen Yu to have no idea that there was actually a tail behind him. Not long after, a spotted deer appeared in their field of vision. Is he going to make a move? This was the first time Su Miaoyu had followed a handsome guy, and she was a little excited, closely watching Chen Yu's every move. As Chen Yu approached the spotted deer step by step, Su Miaoyu's heart also gradually tightened. After the planter class change, you can designate a signature plant and it will mature directly. But as a beginner planter, you can only designate ordinary level plants as your signature plant. The combat power of auxiliary type plants is not even as good as that of the long-toothed rabbit, so it's impossible for them to fight against the spotted deer. Among the combat type plants, only the human beating vine has relatively high damage, but it's still impossible to solo level 6 to 10 monsters. Could it be that someone is supporting him and gave him mature high-quality plant lives? Or maybe his talent allows plant lives to exert stronger combat power. As Su Miaoyu continued to speculate, Chen Yu finally reached the side of the spotted deer and stopped. It's finally starting. Su Miaoyu stared intently. However, Chen Yu just reached out and rubbed the spotted deer's head before walking away from its side. How could he harm such a cute little deer? Oh, the spotted deer let out a comfortable sound. Su Miaoyu, I took off my pants for you to show me this. Seeing Chen Yu leave, Su Miaoyu, feeling helpless, could only sneakily follow him again. They passed through the area of the spotted deer without Chen Yu attacking once. Ahead was the edge of the forest terrain. Further ahead was the area of hostile creatures, wild wolves. Wild wolves would actively attack professionals. Professionals at their level couldn't afford to provoke wild wolves. Once they entered that area, accidents could happen at any time. Could it be that he's not here to level up at all? He's just casually wandering around, looking for plant seeds and wild resources. Su Miaoyu couldn't help but feel disappointed. Wait, where is he going? Su Miaoyu suddenly saw that Chen Yu didn't stop at the edge of the forest, but directly walked into the grassland area. That's level 11 and above, hostile monsters that will actively attack. Is he seeking death? Su Miaoyu became extremely anxious. Although she didn't like Chen Yu snatching her first place in the grade, and she was even more disgusted by the gossip about her and Chen Yu circulating in school. But she was still just a 16-year-old girl, a sheltered flower, not someone ruthless and decisive like an experienced professional. She couldn't just watch a fellow awakened classmate die tragically in front of her. As the first in the grade, doesn't he know the danger of hostile monsters? Su Miaoyu quickly ran out from behind the hiding tree and rushed towards Chen Yu. She didn't dare to shout, because Chen Yu was already in the area of the wild wolves, and there were several wolves not far away. If she made too much noise, it could startle the wolves and they might attack Chen Yu. However, because she was afraid of being discovered by Chen Yu and losing face, Su Miaoyu was at least dozens of meters away from Chen Yu. Even if she ran with all her might, she couldn't catch up to him in the first moment. When Su Miaoyu reached the edge of the forest, Chen Yu had already entered the range of hatred of several wild wolves. Roar! The 3 wild wolves let out a howl and charged towards Chen Yu. In just a few seconds, they had already rushed to Chen Yu and pounced on him. It's over. Su Miaoyu closed her eyes in despair, unable to witness the bloody scene that would follow. Bang bang bang. A few muffled sounds came. My father said that as a combat professional, I must get used to bloodshed and death, as I am constantly walking on the edge of life and death, on the blade. If I can't face scenes like this, how can I become stronger? How can I fight those terrifying monsters? After a few seconds, Su Miaoyu struggled to open her eyes slightly and looked in the direction of Chen Yu. However, the cruel scene she imagined did not appear. On the ground lay the corpses of several wild wolves, not Chen Yu. Chen Yu stood calmly in place, not even a hair out of place. 4 humanoid creatures stood beside him. The humanoid creatures had long, slender, green vines connecting their hands. What is this? Su Miaoyu was stunned. Plant life. But why are they humanoid? At this moment, another wild wolf charged towards Chen Yu. Chen Yu still didn't make any moves. One of the humanoid creatures raised the vine and fiercely whipped it towards the wolf. Bang! The vine whip struck the wolf's back, the tremendous force breaking its spine and causing the wolf to fold up in an anomaly-like posture. At the same time, it ended the wolf's life. To be able to instantly kill a level 11 monster like the wild wolf. Su Miaoyu was dumbfounded. Then, one of the humanoid creatures stayed by Chen Yu's side, while the other 3 dispersed around. In no time, all the wolves within sight were cleared out, all killed with a single blow, clean and neat. With no monsters around, Chen Yu continued walking forward and quickly disappeared behind a small hill. He's actually this strong. On the second day of his job change, he can solo areas with a level of at least 10. I, with my hidden profession, struggle even against small wild boars. What kind of genius am I? Su Miaoyu looked at the direction Chen Yu had left in, her emotions unable to calm down for a long time. Then, doubt arose in her heart. Is the planter really that powerful? What species are those 4 humanoid plant creatures? Are they born from talent or supported by others? With her thoughts in a mess, Su Miaoyu returned to the area with the small wild boars listlessly. Her team was attacking a small wild boar, and 2/3 of its health had already been depleted. Yuyu, you're finally back. Quick, deal damage. When Lu Pingping saw Su Miaoyu, she excitedly shouted. Sword Chi Slash. Su Miaoyu used a skill and killed the small wild boar. However, after witnessing the scene of the thorn vine fiend easily and effortlessly killing the wolves, the damage she used to be proud of made her feel somewhat ashamed. Where did you go, Yuyu? Lu Pingping walked over and hugged Su Miaoyu's neck, smiling mischievously. She said, you disappeared for so long, didn't reply to any messages, and we all thought you were taken away by a hidden monster. Su Miaoyu opened the friend panel, where there were numerous unread messages, almost all of them from her teammates expressing concern. It's nothing, I just got lost earlier. Su Miaoyu smiled and said, let's continue grinding monsters. Okay, let's keep going. Under the protection of the 4 thorn vine fiends, Chen Yu transmigrated through the wolf area without any danger. Ahead of the wolf area was the black bear area for levels 15 to 25. The black bears gave more experience, but their density was not as high as the wolves. Although the thorn vine fiends still killed one bear with one whip, the efficiency was not much higher than when they were killing wolves. Let's go for something bigger. Chen Yu didn't stay in the black bear area but continued forward. The higher the level of the monster, the larger the area it occupies. Chen Yu didn't want to waste time on the road, so he directly had 2 thorn vine fiends use the vines in their hands to make a sedan chair and carry him forward. The agility of the thorn vine fiends was nearly 20 times that of Chen Yu, and they ran at a very fast speed. After more than an hour, Chen Yu had already entered the edge of the level 51 monster, Jackalman, area. Whether it's a professional or a monster, level 50 is a watershed. The difference in strength between level 51 and level 50 is huge. The thorn vine fiends can no longer instantly kill the level 50 small monsters. As for whether Chen Yu can defeat level 51 monsters, it remains to be seen. However, Chen Yu never intended to rely on the thorn vine fiends as his main force. With a thought, the original fire spirit Xiao Yan appeared. She had disheveled hair and a wrinkled fiery red dress. Due to being asleep, she fell straight down from midair. Chen Yu quickly caught her with both hands. Master. Lying in Chen Yu's hands, Xiao Yan raised her delicate and fair little hand, rubbed her sleepy eyes, and looked at Chen Yu with her head tilted. Go, Xiao Yan, it's up to you. Chen Yu held Xiao Yan with one hand and threw her into the air. Ah, Xiao Yan exclaimed and shook a few times to stabilize herself. Chen Yu used plant enhancement on Xiao Yan. Xiao Yan, go all out, use the skill, Judgment of the Apocalypse. Oh yeah, yes, Master. Xiao Yan immediately became excited. She had been wanting to go all out for a long time. Fire elementalization. A ball of flame ignited under Xiao Yan's feet, instantly burning all over her body, transforming her from a petite beauty into a volleyball-sized blazing fireball. Fire elementalization. Enter an elementalized state, immune to all physical damage, immune to all fire damage, and self-fire damage increased by 500%. Then, she began to recite an incantation. The raging fire element gathered around her. 1 minute later, a red cloud appeared in the sky. 2 minutes later, countless red clouds began to spread. 3 minutes later, the red flames were about to burst out, illuminating the earth. The beginner leveling area. Hey, look, why is the sky over there turning red? A resting archer pulled the nearby mage and pointed to the sky in the distance. Can we see the evening glow in broad daylight? The mage was dumbfounded. Hiss, no, something's not right. How can there be such strong magical fluctuations over there? Even a noob like me can feel it. Magical fluctuations. You don't mean it's magic, do you? A warrior walked over and said with a smile, if it's really magic, what level of magic would it be? At least rank 7's great demon magic. The mage pondered for a moment and said with a serious tone, no, that's not right. With such a terrifying range, it's probably a rank 8 forbidden spell. Each time a professional changes jobs, it is considered a promotion to a higher rank. The first job is rank 1, the second job is rank 2. At each rank, one can only learn skills corresponding to that rank. Among the mage's skills, rank 7 is known as Great Demon Magic, while rank 8 and above are referred to as forbidden spells. You're panting just by saying that you're fat. The warrior sneered, and a forbidden spell. Why don't you say it's divine punishment? Divine punishment is a skill of priests. I only understand magic. ... The firelight in the sky became more and more intense. The beginner professionals in the surrounding leveling area all stopped their actions and looked towards the direction of the fire cloud. Time passed second by second, and the red fire cloud became even more dense. Along with it came a scorching and heavy oppressive feeling. It felt as if they were carrying a smelting furnace filled with boiling lead water on their backs. River Sun City, Professional Association. President Su Jungwei is holding a brush, practicing calligraphy. As a level 299 rank 5 peak variant professional, an ice crystal mage, he is the strongest in River Sun City. Although he presides over the professional association, he doesn't have many daily affairs. Every day, besides painting and practicing calligraphy, he goes around to see the development of the professional association in River Sun City. Recently, something great happened at home, making him smile all day long. He can only use calligraphy to calm his mood. Suddenly, a feeling of palpitation struck. Su Jungwei looked up, his face full of horror, looking towards the distant horizon. From that direction, he felt a violent and intense magical fluctuation. In the face of such magical fluctuations, he, a rank 5 peak mage, seemed like a paper boat in a stormy sea, small and powerless, as if it could be torn to pieces at any moment. Forbidden spell. This is definitely the magical fluctuation of a forbidden spell. Su Jungwei felt anxious. Forbidden spells are transcendent level magic that can only be cast by transcendent level powerhouses above level 400. Even the weakest forbidden spell has the power to easily destroy a city. Why would there be a transcendent level powerhouse casting forbidden spells around River Sun City? And it's a fire-type forbidden spell known for its destructive power. Could it be that someone, for unknown reasons, wants to wipe out the entire River Sun City? It's not surprising that Su Jungwei would think that. You see, there is no powerful existence around River Sun City that requires the use of forbidden spells to solve. There is also no high-level monster area above level 400 that is worth using forbidden spells to farm efficiently. So the question is, besides the entire River Sun City, what else could be the target of using forbidden spells so close to River Sun City? Ding ding ding. The communication screen in Su Jungwei's office lit up one after another. The images of the rulers of River Sun City and powerful professionals appeared on it. Old Su, what's going on over there? It seems to be a strong magical fluctuation. Can you see what's happening? A middle-aged man pointed outside the window, looking puzzled. This is the mayor of River Sun City. Due to his long-term administrative work, his professional level is not high, only a little over level 100. Old Su, what level of magic is this? Why is there such a big commotion? Another person asked solemnly. Yes, Old Su, you are the strongest in River Sun City and a mage. Can you tell us what's going on? Quote. Everyone, there's no need to ask, Su Jungwei said solemnly, I can responsibly tell you that the magical fluctuation is a forbidden spell. What? A forbidden spell? How is that possible? Is there anything around River Sun City worth a forbidden spell mage's intervention? Could it be aimed at our River Sun City? Old Su, what should we do now? Can River Sun City withstand an attack from a forbidden spell? Old Su, think of a solution. If the target of the forbidden spell is really River Sun City, what should we do? Old Su, say something. If you need any resources, we will do our best to gather them for you. We just hope you can take action. Quote. Everyone, you think too highly of this old man, Su Jungwei smiled bitterly, that's a forbidden spell. A rank 8 transcendent level powerhouse's condensed lifelong power, the shocking heavenly demon spell. In the face of a forbidden spell, what's the difference between me and an ant? If the other party's target is really us, besides waiting for death, we can't do anything. Everyone, pray that the powerhouse is just acting on a whim and doesn't want to destroy our River Sun City. Clap, clap, clap. The communication screens went dark one by one. The powerful and influential figures of River Sun City were restless, like condemned prisoners awaiting execution. Even Su Jungwei compared himself to an ant, so what about these people? Are they dust or bacteria? They racked their brains, trying to figure out who they had wronged in the past. Or perhaps it was their family members who had offended someone, and now they might have provoked a forbidden curse master. However, no matter how hard they thought, they couldn't figure out how they had offended such a powerful individual. After all, they were on different levels, and the other party didn't even bother to acknowledge them. Not to mention provoking them, it was extremely difficult to even have the slightest connection. Although this fact left the high-ranking professionals feeling frustrated, it also brought them some psychological comfort. Perhaps the forbidden curse was not directed towards River Sun City. The area of the jackal wolf monster. Chen Yu looked up at the sky. The endless sea of fire clouds made him feel a little frightened. Because Chen Yu's order was to go all out, Xiaoyan didn't rush to release the spell. Instead, he constantly squeezed himself to enhance the power of the spell. The pre-action that could have been completed in 5 minutes was forcibly dragged out to 30 minutes. Feeling that his mental power was about to be exhausted, Xiaoyan finally stopped increasing the power. Great primordial fire, please heed my call and cleanse the world of evil. Judgment Day. Whoosh! A large expanse of flames suddenly fell from the fiery clouds in the sky. In midair, they gathered into a sea of fire and pressed down towards the boundless earth. The scorching flames roasted the air, expanding into one huge hurricane after another. The hurricanes carried the flames and freely unleashed boundless power on the earth. Whether it was mountains, forests, grasslands, or swamps, wherever the flame hurricane passed, everything turned into a sea of red. Countless living beings didn't even have time to cry out in agony before they were burned to ashes. Trees turned into charcoal, streams evaporated, lakes boiled, and the earth became like a huge pottery, baked into a pale white shell. In this fiery purgatory, the only person unaffected was Chen Yu. As the primordial fire spirit, Xiaoyan had absolute control over his own spells and it was impossible to accidentally harm Chen Yu. However, the powerful wind pressure, scorching air, and thin oxygen made Chen Yu feel increasingly uncomfortable, forcing him to take refuge in the unsurpassable sacred ground. In his mind, the heavenly Tao prompt kept sounding. Killed level 53 Jackal Wolf Scout, experience plus 106. Killed level 60 Jackal Wolf Warrior, experience plus 120. Killed level 46 Rampaging Bear, experience plus 46. Killed level 62 Goblin Guardian, experience plus 124. Killed level 75 Venomous Lizard, experience plus 150. Killed level 99 Young Winged Dragon, experience plus 198. Your slaughter has alerted the Jackal Wolf Chieftain, who has decided to pursue you across regions. The hatred will end if you retreat to a neutral area. Killed level 70 Regional Boss Super Wolfman Chieftain, experience plus 140,000. Your slaughter has alerted the Bear King, who has decided to pursue you across regions. The hatred will end if you retreat to a neutral area. Killed level 50 Regional Boss Bear King, experience plus 100,000. Your slaughter has alerted the Goblin Chief, who has decided to pursue you across regions. The hatred will end if you retreat to a neutral area. Killed level 80 Boss Goblin Chief, experience plus 160,000. Your level has increased. Your level has increased. Your level has increased. Your level has increased. Countless monsters were killed in an instant. Multiple area bosses spawned and were killed within a second, turning into experience points. Chen Yu was constantly annoyed by the continuous notification sounds and had to temporarily turn them off. It wasn't until over 2 hours later that the frequency of the notifications from the Heavenly Tao began to gradually slow down. On the battle record board, there were over 20 notifications just for the kills of the area bosses at different levels. There were countless elite monsters and regular monsters. Chen Yu's level directly jumped from level 8 to level 43. His own panel didn't change much because he hadn't allocated any attribute points. On the other hand, Xiaoyan's attributes exploded again, and the attributes of the Thornvine Demon became even more terrifying. Original Fire Spirit Xiaoyan. Rank: 1 Color Mythical. Level: 43. Attributes: Strength: 4,700. Agility: 4,700. Constitution: 4,700. Spirit: 9,400. Talents: Fire Elementalization. enters an elementalized state, immune to all physical damage and fire damage, and increases own fire damage by 500%. Passive. Original Fire Spirit. Reduces the consumption of fire skills by 99% and increases their power by 100%. Skills. Flame Incineration, Forbidden Curse, Judgment of Doomsday, Forbidden Curse, Meteor Fire Rain, Forbidden Curse, Fiery Shield, Forbidden Curse. Thorn Vine Demon. Rank. Epic. Level. 43. Attributes. Strength 1051, Agility 1125, Constitution 1300, Spirit 536. Skills. Forceful Strikes LV1, Thorn Entanglement LV1, Thorn Ejection LV1, Thorn Cut LV1. In addition to the growth in attributes, both the original Fire Spirit and the Thorn Vine Demon have learned 2 new skills. Among them, the Thorn Ejection of the Thorn Vine Demon is a long-range xiao Yan's Fiery Shield is a defensive counterattack skill. Of course, even though it is a defensive skill, it is still a forbidden curse with infinite power. Chen Yu left the unsurpassable sacred ground with Yan. Just as they returned to the outside world, a scorching wave of air mixed with hot sparks swept over. Yan quickly flew in front of Chen Yu and raised a thin barrier to separate the wave of air. Wow, is this a forbidden curse? Chen Yu looked at the endless expanse of scorched earth around him, greatly shocked. Not only were the monsters gone, even the terrain was destroyed. The power of this forbidden curse was probably no less than that of a large nuclear weapon. If the scorched earth was left unattended, it would probably take hundreds or even thousands of years for life to be born again. Fortunately, in the digitized world, there is a certain degree of stability, and the destroyed wilderness terrain will automatically refresh and recover. We can't release such a powerful wide-range forbidden curse so casually in the future. Even if we want to use it, we must observe carefully beforehand. Chen Yu felt a little apprehensive. It wasn't that he had become an environmentalist, but rather that this uncontrollable power could easily cause friendly fire. If a descendant of some big shot's family was outside leveling up and died from an unknown AoE, wouldn't that big shot come after him? On the charred land, various colored lights flickered. These were the items dropped by the monsters, as well as Chen Yu's spoils of war. At this time, the residual power of the forbidden curse had not completely dissipated, and scattered flames were still burning. The scorching earth will cause significant fire damage to anyone who steps on it. If Chen Yu were not Yan's master, he would probably be burned to death shortly after stepping on the ground. Well, at least no one will come in for a short time, and I can safely collect the spoils. Chen Yu walked up to a beam of light and picked it up. Obtained 15 silver coins. Obtained the equipment, Exquisite Goblin Spear. Obtained 86 copper coins. Obtained the equipment, Fierce Bear Shoulder Armor. Busy for a whole hour, Chen Yu finally finished collecting the spoils in a small area. Due to the large range of Yan's forbidden spell, the range of dropped spoils was extremely wide. Chen Yu picked up items all the way, and there were shining lights in all directions except behind him. It has to be said that this is definitely a happy trouble. Other professionals complain that the drop rate of monsters is not high, and they can't make money at all. Chen Yu, on the other hand, couldn't pick up all the dropped items because there were too many. By relying on himself alone, he would probably spend the whole day on it. So, Chen Yu summoned 4 Thorn Vine Fiends to help pick up the items. Each Thorn Vine Fiend had 5 vine whips in one hand, which could freely extend and retract, making their collection efficiency much faster than Chen Yu's. As for Chen Yu, he went straight to the location where the area boss died. Even if there were spoils stepped on along the way, he didn't want to bend down to pick them up. Among all the dropped items, the boss's treasure chest was undoubtedly the most valuable and had to be picked up first. River Sun City, Professional Association. The elites and strong individuals of the entire River Sun City gathered together, sitting around the president of the Professional Association, Su Jungwei. The crisis of the forbidden spell has passed, and River Sun City has not been stepped on, so their lives have been saved. But the fear brought by the forbidden spell still lingers in their hearts, perhaps never dissipating. That feeling of helplessness, where fate is beyond one's control and life and death are uncertain in the next moment, is truly terrifying. Old Su, tell us, how do you see this matter? Zhou Wulian, the vice president of the River Sun City Professional Guild, a 5th-level warrior. His strength ranks in the top 10 in River Sun City. How do I see it? I'm just watching. Su Jungwee's heart was still pounding, and he slumped in his chair, his breath unsettled. The power of magic can only be deeply felt by magicians. A forbidden spell was released almost right in front of his face. How could he not be afraid? When the spell erupted, he almost thought he was done for. Fortunately, the target of the forbidden spell was not River Sun City, and everyone managed to keep their lives. Old Su, you are a high-level mage. You have the most say in matters like forbidden spells. Can you analyze what kind of magic it is? We can investigate which divine ability user is displaying it. Yes, Old Su, there aren't many powerful mages like this in our Dragon God Empire, right? If we know who it is, we can find out what happened. I, as the mayor of Cloud River Province, also have 2 forbidden spell users. If I report this matter, those 2 will definitely not ignore it. But we need to know who it is so that we can communicate with them. If someone starts off by casting a forbidden spell in our River Sun City, it's too frightening. That's right, we absolutely can't ignore it. If that person's intentions are not fulfilled, will they come again? Our River Sun City is small and can't withstand such a big disturbance. Phew, sorry, old man, I'm also scared out of my wits. Su Jungwei smiled bitterly. Indeed, we need to figure out what exactly went wrong that caused a forbidden mage to release a forbidden spell in our River Sun City. But right now, all I know is that the forbidden spell released was a fire magic. I need to get closer to observe before making a judgment. That can't be delayed, Old Su. Shall we go now? Going now would be seeking death, wouldn't it? Su Jungwee's face twitched. That's a forbidden spell. Its power hasn't completely dissipated yet. If we go now, even a spark could take our lives. What should we do then? Wait, if it's not a continuous magic, it should be almost over in a few more hours. Chen Yu spent most of the day collecting the spoils. During this time, there were still continuous gains from experience. That was because monsters kept respawning, and before they had a chance to explore this world, they were continuously killed by fire damage. There were a total of 23 boss chests, 8 epic level and 15 rare level. Following tradition, Chen Yu rubbed Xiao Yan's head and opened a chest. After opening all the chests, Xiao Yan's head was spinning, and it seemed like there were mosquito coils spinning in his big eyes. In addition to the scattered drops from other monsters, this time they obtained a total of 580 gold coins, 15 epic level equipment, 53 rare level equipment, and countless ordinary equipment. In addition, there were 9 skill books, 2 mage skills, 5 warrior skills, and 2 archer skills. Although the harvest was plentiful, there was nothing that Chen Yu could use, so they had to sell everything and exchange it for gold coins. Chen Yu estimated that by converting all the gains from this time into resources, the second primal spirit on the world tree would be able to be born ahead of schedule. Take a look at Xiao Yan's combat power. With more primal spirits like this. Tisk, so satisfying. ... After spending most of the day as a cleaner, the 4 thorny vine monsters became Chen Yu's personal transportation, carrying Chen Yu and rushing back to the low-level neutral monster area. The forbidden curse near River Sun City made the big shots fearful, but it had no effect on the newbies who were closer to the incident. For them, it was just a grand natural phenomenon. The location where the red clouds descended and the flames raged in a tornado was dozens of kilometers away from them. At the time of the incident, some curious onlookers ran to the edge of the neutral monster area to watch. However, after the most spectacular scene passed, the newbie players resumed their journey of leveling up by fighting monsters. As dusk approached, the deer in the jungle area remained leisurely, undisturbed in their peaceful lives. But in the area of the wild boars, more and more people had arrived. On the way, Chen Yu saw at least 3 teams fighting wild boars. In the center of the wild boar area, there was a familiar team. Su Miaoyu had already reached level 5, and her damage output was even more terrifying. With just 1 skill and a little help from her teammates, she could kill a wild boar. This team had improved a lot in terms of cooperation and combat proficiency. However, compared to Chen Yu, they were still far behind. 10,000 Su Miaoyus couldn't withstand a single forbidden curse from Xiao Yan. Having obtained unparalleled talent, it signified that Chen Yu had created a huge gap between themselves and their peers. As levels increased and time passed, this gap would only deepen. Invincible and lonely, Chen Yu sighed and continued on the way back. Chen Yu, wait a moment. Su Miaoyu spotted Chen Yu and quickly used a sword aura to finish off a wild boar, then ran up to Chen Yu. Do you need something? Chen Yu looked at Su Miaoyu. Well, Su Miaoyu had seen Chen Yu soloing wolves and was extremely curious about Chen Yu's combat power. Because she didn't dare to enter the wolf area to continue tracking, she only caught a glimpse of Chen Yu's true strength. She wanted to ask how strong Chen Yu was, but she couldn't directly inquire and reveal her sneaky behavior. If there's nothing, I'll be on my way. Chen Yu saw Su Miaoyu hesitating and looking like she had a request that she didn't want to make, so he quickly bypassed her and continued walking. When most people had that expression, it meant they either wanted your help or wanted to borrow money from you. It couldn't be anything good. Wait, Su Miaoyu quickly stopped Chen Yu again. Chen Yu, are you going back to the city? I'm also planning to go back. We can go together. How about riding in my car? Su Miaoyu just wanted to find a reason to strike up a conversation with Chen Yu, making it easier for her to indirectly ask. As for what reason, whether it was awkward or not, it didn't matter. On the way, Chen Yu was certain that this girl had some ulterior motive. All newbie players who were going back to the city were on the way, so why not invite others to go together? Chen Yu originally wanted to refuse directly, but suddenly remembered a skill book they had just obtained. Name: Autumn Water Sword Technique. Quality: Rare. Requirements: Swordsman, Swordsmaster, Sword Hero, Sword Immortal, and other sword-wielding professions. Autumn Water Sword Technique requires the use of a longsword. Skill books for this specific type of limited weapon are quite niche and rarely appear on the market. If you put it up for sale on the trading market, it may take a long time to sell at a high price, but if you sell it directly to the store, the price will be very low. If you want to sell it for a good price, you have to find someone who needs it. Su Miaoyu happens to be a sword immortal and comes from a professional family, so she definitely doesn't lack money. As a young lady, isn't it normal for her to spend money freely? If you want to make money, you have to find someone like her, a big spender. As for whether Su Miaoyu has any ulterior motives, as long as I don't give her a chance to speak, I won't be in trouble. Thinking of this, Chen Yu decisively agreed to Su Miaoyu's invitation. Since that's the case, thank you very much, Su classmate. That's great. Su Miaoyu cheered. What's so great? Chen Yu caught a glimpse of Su Miaoyu's eager look and immediately showed a suspicious expression. Could this girl have taken a liking to my two sturdy waist muscles? We're both novice professionals, and leveling up is the priority. I'm not interested in playing this game. It's nothing. I just said the weather is nice. Su Miaoyu's smile froze. She had many questions about Chen Yu. For example, the origin, level, and grade of those 4 humanoid plant creatures. And also, what kind of strength does Chen Yu have now? He can actually solo in the wolf territory. Once a person is stirred by curiosity, it's hard to stop exploring. Especially for a curious young person in their prime. But she was too obvious, and it would be troublesome if Chen Yu became suspicious. Well, the weather is indeed nice. Chen Yu secretly alerted himself, reminding himself to make money and run, not giving Su Miaoyu a chance to speak. Shall we go now? Wait for me for a moment. Su Miaoyu ran back to her team. Everyone, it's getting late. Let's stop here for today. I have something to do, so I'll leave first. After saying that, amidst the astonished gazes of her teammates, she hurriedly returned to Chen Yu's side and left together. Lu Pingping stared blankly at the direction Su Miaoyu left. If I'm not mistaken, the person beside Yu is Chen Yu, right? You're not mistaken. I also think it's Chen Yu. I can't possibly be mistaken, right? Li Yanran also said in astonishment. That legend from before, could it be true? Yu and that Chen Yu, the two of them. But wait, Yu said it was just a rumor, right? And she was angry about it for a long time. Could it be that Yu liked Chen Yu before, but suppressed her feelings for the sake of studying? And now that she's completed her class change, she's completely letting herself go. What are you guys talking about? A young boy carrying a bow and arrow walked over, frowning. How could Su's classmate possibly like that Chen Yu? What's Su's classmate's status and position, and what is Chen Yu? Besides having slightly better academic performance, is there anything worth praising about him? It's impossible before the class change. It's even more impossible after the class change. Su's classmate is a hidden class, while Chen Yu is just a planter, nothing more than a cannon fodder. Hey, Lin Downen, why are you so sour? Lu Pingping patted the shoulder of the boy with the bow and arrow, smiling. I'm stating the facts. Don't you all agree? Lin Downen looked around at the other teammates. I think that makes sense. A young warrior carrying a large sword said. Well, I still think there's something going on between them. Hee. Li Yanren showed a knowing smile. There can't be so much going on. It's definitely impossible, Lin Downen said firmly. What is there to like about Chen Yu? Is there anything? I don't think so. He's handsome, Lu Pingping said naturally. Otherwise, why? Just look at Yu's expression just now. She almost wrote, happy, all over her face. If she really didn't like him, why would she go out of her way to find him? Maybe there's something going on. Lin Downen blushed and stuttered. You see, even you admit it. There's something going on between them. Lu Pingping said triumphantly. What I meant by something going on is not what you're thinking. Lin Downen said angrily. Alright, let's stop talking about it. Gossiping about what? Let's go back if we're not going to continue leveling. I'm hungry. Lu Zixin, the healing sister, looked helpless as she looked at the arguing two. What leveling? The main tank has already left. I don't want to endure the monsters beating and not get much experience. Lu Pingping pouted and started packing her bags. Seeing this, the other members of the team also began to prepare to return. Chen Yu followed Su Miaoyu and crossed the leveling area after only a few hundred meters. Beside the road, there was a parked yellow-brown off-road vehicle. 3 fully armed professionals stood by the car. From their equipment, it was a professional team consisting of a warrior, a mage, and a priest. Uncle Lin, Uncle Zhao, Sister Qin. Su Miaoyu greeted the 3 of them very casually. Miss, who is this? Mage Qin opened the car door for Su Miaoyu, her gaze carrying a hint of curiosity as she looked at Chen Yu. This is my classmate, Chen Yu, Su Miaoyu said with a smile. He happened to be on his way back to the city, so he came with me. Come on, Chen Yu. Su Miaoyu beckoned to Chen Yu and patted the seat next to her. Chen Yu put on her detective glasses and cast a probing spell at Qin. Name, Qin Lan. Profession, Mage. Level, 121. Attributes, Strength 912, Agility 893, Constitution 925, Spirit 2078. Talent, Skills. These 3 people should be bodyguards sent by Su Miaoyu's family. As second-tier professionals, they were considered strong in the entire River Sun City. However, in Chen Yu's opinion, they were just average and not worth paying much attention to. Her level was 121, but in terms of combat power, she probably wasn't much stronger than a level 43 Thornvine sprite. If she were to encounter the original fire spirit Xiaoyan, she would definitely be killed instantly, without any other possibility. Come on, what are you looking at, Qin? Why are you still wearing glasses? Haven't you seen a beauty before? Su Miaoyu urged impatiently. Research shows that looking at beautiful women helps maintain a happy mood and prolong life. Chen Yu also realized that her behavior was a bit impulsive, but she wasn't embarrassed. Instead, she pushed her glasses up and smiled. Chen is quite humorous. Qin Lan also smiled. No wonder you have such a good relationship with Miss. You know, Miss has never invited a boy to get in her car before. That's truly an honor. Chen Yu got in the car and sat next to Su Miaoyu. Qin Lan got in from the other side. On the way, the priest in the driver's seat and the warrior in the co-driver's seat hardly spoke. Chen Yu waited for the cooldown and cast a probing spell on the 2 people in the front seat. Priest level 98, warrior level 99, much weaker than Qin Lan. The 2 of them combined might not be able to defeat a Thornvine sprite. Qin Lan chatted with Chen Yu through Su Miaoyu, asking probing questions most of the time. Chen Yu, who had been a veteran in the workplace in her previous life, naturally wouldn't reveal any useful information to the other party. Su Miaoyu frequently turned her head towards Chen Yu, trying to find a way to start a conversation. But Chen Yu always managed to kill the topic in time, not giving her a chance to say another word. It was clear that Su Miaoyu was enduring a lot of frustration, and her fair face turned red. When they were about to enter the city, Su Miaoyu suggested sitting down together and having a drink. Chen Yu also wanted to find an opportunity to sell a skill book, so the two agreed immediately. Back in River Sun City, the off-road vehicle stopped next to a cafe. Su Miaoyu led Chen Yu into a private room, and Qin Lan followed closely, guarding against Chen Yu intentionally or unintentionally. Chen Yu had no negative emotions about this and didn't ask Qin Lan to leave. After all, she just wanted to sell a skill book, not engage in secret missions or underground romance with Su Miaoyu. Chen Yu, what would you like to drink? Su Miaoyu handed the menu to Chen Yu. Chen Yu glanced at it and found that the consumption level of this cafe was quite high. Most of the drinks were priced at more than 5 silver coins. 5 silver coins, use them sparingly, they're enough for an ordinary student's living expenses for a month. Whatever, I don't really like drinking coffee. Chen Yu returned the menu to Su Miaoyu. Alright, do you like tea or fruit juice? Tea, I guess. Okay, Su Miaoyu ordered, and the waiter quickly brought the drinks. In addition to a cup of tea and 2 cups of coffee, there was also an extra large serving of fruit ice cream. Chen Yu, I heard that the early stages of being a planter are very difficult, are you also a planter? Is that true? Su Miaoyu ate her ice cream with a small spoon and asked Chen Yu. She didn't know if other planters were suffering, but Chen Yu definitely wasn't. Su Miaoyu could see it clearly. Faced with a group of wild wolves, Chen Yu would just stand still and wait for the experience to accumulate. She said this just to test Chen Yu. It's alright, it can be considered difficult, but also easy. Chen Yu took a sip of tea and vaguely replied. With Su Miaoyu's level of understanding, it would be impossible for her to trick Chen Yu. By the way, Su classmate, I have a question to ask you. Chen Yu didn't give Su Miaoyu a chance to continue being proactive and spoke up. Go ahead. Su Miaoyu nodded. Have you learned all of your skills? Chen Yu asked. Before the class change, you could learn 5 professional skills. When changing classes, you would receive 2 fixed skills, and you would need to find skill books to learn the other 3. Chen Yu knew very well that Su Miaoyu's 3 skill slots were still empty. But he couldn't directly tell Su Miaoyu that he had used the appraisal skill on her. No, I haven't. Su Miaoyu shook her head. My profession is too special, and I haven't found suitable skill books yet. There are many ordinary skill books, but they don't have much effect after learning them. By the way, why are you asking this? Chen Yu didn't speak. He directly placed the autumn water sword technique on the table, displaying its attributes. A rare level skill book for swordsmen. Su Miaoyu widened her eyes. Where did you get it? Do I need to report to you how I got it? Chen Yu smiled and said, I don't know if Su classmate needs it or not. Of course I need it. Su Miaoyu was pleasantly surprised. The quality of skill books can also be divided into ordinary, rare, epic, legendary, and mythical. There is a huge difference between rare skills and ordinary skills. Su Miaoyu's hidden profession, Sword Immortal, also belongs to the warrior class and can learn warrior skills such as sweep and slash. But these skills are simply a waste for the Sword Immortal profession, they just take up skill slots. However, suitable skills for Sword Immortal are very rare, even finding ordinary level ones is difficult, not to mention rare level ones. Su Miaoyu originally planned to learn 2 common status skills or passive skills if she couldn't find suitable rare level skills. What she didn't expect was that her family had tried their best but couldn't find suitable skill books, and Chen Yu could actually produce one. Did he get this from monster drops today? His luck is too good. Su Miaoyu was secretly amazed. You should know that the probability of ordinary monsters dropping skill books is very low. The drop rate is even lower for low-level monsters. To obtain a skill book in the 11 to 15 level wolf area in less than a day, it's like being favored by the heavens. Since you're interested, let's talk about the price. Chen Yu said, I believe Su classmate knows the value of this skill book. The market price for rare skill books is around 1,000 gold coins. Su Miaoyu pondered for a moment and said, Considering the additional value of special skill books, I'll offer 3,000 gold coins for this autumn water sword technique, how about it? As a descendant of a professional family, Su Miaoyu knew the market well. But the price she offered was far beyond Chen Yu's expectations. Originally, Chen Yu thought that selling this skill book for 2,000 gold coins would already be very good, but he didn't expect an unexpected surprise. This type of skill book is rare, but the selling price is not high because the demand is low. Seeing that Chen Yu did not respond immediately, Su Miaoyu continued. Normally, autumn water sword technique can be sold for 1,500-2,000 gold coins, and if you're in a hurry, the price will be even lower. I bid 3,000, which already takes into account my needs. Okay, deal. Chen Yu agreed immediately. 3,000 gold coins is already a fair price, and it's unlikely that this skill book can be sold for a higher price. I'll add you as a friend and transfer the money to you, Su Miaoyu said. Okay. Chen Yu opened his friend panel, which was empty. After adding each other as friends, the first name appeared. Notification. Your friend Su Miaoyu has initiated a trade request. Su Miaoyu put in 3,000 gold coins on the trading interface, while Chen Yu placed the skill book. Both parties clicked confirm, and the trade was completed. Thank you, Chen Yu. Su Miaoyu took the skill book and immediately used it. After checking the skill effect, she showed a delighted expression. No need to thank me, we both got what we needed, Chen Yu said with a smile. If there's nothing else, I'll leave. After saying that, he stood up and prepared to leave. Wait, when Chen Yu reached the door, Su Miaoyu suddenly called out. She was a little annoyed. How many boys dream of having the chance to have coffee with her? But Chen Yu didn't even think about chatting and getting closer to her. His mind was only focused on business. After settling the payment, he was ready to leave immediately. As the campus bell, Su Miaoyu, when did she lose this charm? What's the matter? Chen Yu turned back to look at Su Miaoyu. Well, can I ask you a question? Su Miaoyu hesitated. Although she was unhappy with Chen Yu's attitude, she was curious about him, which made her restless. Go ahead and ask. Chen Yu had made a big profit and was in a great mood. Su Miaoyu seemed cute to him. That. Su Miaoyu's face turned slightly red. She wanted to ask about those humanoid plant creatures and Chen Yu's current strength. But she didn't know how to approach the topic. Should she say, this morning, I followed you and saw you kill a group of wild wolves? Not to mention whether she could afford to lose face, just the act of stalking was already very impolite. If the other party was a strong person, it was very likely that they would have a falling out because of this. Just say it, don't beat around the bush, Chen Yu said. At this moment, his mind was already at the trading market. He just wanted to quickly buy a batch of resources and raise his second primal spirit. If it weren't for the sake of the gold coins, he would have left long ago. Well, I just wanted to ask. Su Miaoyu's facial expression twisted, feeling extremely uncomfortable. Suddenly, a flash of inspiration came to her mind, and she found a way to approach the topic. By the way, what's your opinion on the rumors in our school? It's our business, how do you see it? There was only this little intersection between the two of them, and it wasn't easy to find a topic to discuss. What opinion can I have? They're just rumors. Chen Yu instantly became alert. If she could ask this question, there must be a follow-up. And it was the goddess trying to please her dog follow-up. Although he was sure he wouldn't fall for it, he couldn't give her the chance to flatter him. I know you may be troubled by this matter, but I can't do anything about it. It's difficult to clarify this kind of thing. The more we deny it, the more others will think we're having an affair, don't you think? Moreover, we've both changed jobs now. Is it necessary to care about it anymore? If you have time to think about this, it's better to seize the time to upgrade and practice skills. The college entrance examination is next month. After the exam, everyone will go their separate ways. Can rumors still affect you? With that, Chen Yu shook his head and walked out of the private room. Su Miaoyu bit her lip, staring at Chen Yu's departing figure, speechless for a moment. Could it be that she really has no attraction to Chen Yu? She had bravely brought up such an ambiguous topic, only to be abruptly shut down by the other party. The correct procedure shouldn't be for two people to blush and talk about sensitive topics, then let the atmosphere become more ambiguous, and finally say some intimate words, right? That way, she would have the opportunity to indirectly express her doubts. But Chen Yu, on the other hand, just ended the conversation with a few words, and even lectured her sternly. Miss, don't look at him, he's already gone. Chin Lan sighed softly beside her. I think he's right. It's not the time for you to think about these things. As professionals, we can pursue love, but definitely not now. Who wants to fall in love? Su Miaoyu said angrily, don't you think he's being too much? Why does he treat me like this? Oh, I paid a high price for his things, just to chat with him, and I have to rack my brains to find topics. But he just left like that, without even looking at me. Am I so annoying? Is he so eager to distance himself from me? I think he has no problem, but miss, your thoughts are dangerous. Chin Lan said seriously, not only do you want to fall in love, but you also want to pursue someone who ignores you. HMPH. Su Miaoyu laughed angrily. She suddenly felt that Chen Yu was right. This kind of thing is easy to make worse by talking about it. It's better to keep quiet and let the facts explain everything. After bidding farewell to Su Miaoyu, Chen Yu hurriedly went to the professional trader center. He sold all his equipment, skill books, and items, earning over 6,000 gold coins. Adding the 3,000 he earned from Su Miaoyu, he now has nearly 10,000 gold coins. 10,000 gold coins, if based on the purchasing power of the previous life on Earth, that would be 100 million. If Chen Yu only wanted to live an ordinary life, then these 10,000 gold coins would be enough for him to live a wealthy life for a lifetime. However, in this world where everyone changes professions, he has higher pursuits, which are powerful strength and endless life. Except for keeping 500 gold coins for emergencies, Chen Yu exchanged all the money for resources. Most of them were attributelless magic crystals used to nurture new primal spirits. In addition, there were some plant seeds, attribute magic crystals, and various potions. After returning to his dormitory, Chen Yu immediately locked the bedroom door and entered the unsurpassable sacred ground. He absorbed a large number of blank equipment, and the maturity of the primal spirits increased slightly, reaching 20%. Chen Yu placed all the attributelless magic crystals at the roots of the world tree. In an instant, the magic crystals were completely decomposed and turned into energy, injected into the green fruits hanging from the treetop. The maturity of the fruits began to skyrocket. Soon, it reached 100% and began to gestate another fruit. When the maturity of the second fruit reached 40%, the energy was depleted. Chen Yu placed a box of wind attribute magic crystals prepared in advance under the world tree. The wind attribute magic crystals were quickly absorbed. The matured world tree fruit gradually turned green. Then, it ripened and fell. The beautiful fruit, the size of a grapefruit, shining with a green luster, slowly fell into Chen Yu's hands. The fruit split open and transformed into a silk dress. A cute blue-haired elf squatted in Chen Yu's hand. She covered her face with both hands, seeming shy. Chen Yu observed the elf and opened her attribute panel. Original Wind Elf, unnamed. Tier, Mythical. Level, 43. Attributes: Strength, 4,700. Agility, 4,700. Constitution, 4,700. Spirit, 9,400. Talents: Wind Elementalization. Enters an elementalized state, immune to all physical damage and wind damage, self-wind damage increased by 500%. Passive: Original Wind Elf. Reduces the consumption of wind skills by 99%, increases power by 100%. Skills: Tornado Storm, Forbidden Curse, Thousand Wind Blades, Forbidden Curse, Withering Words, Forbidden Curse, Endless Wind Pressure, Forbidden Curse. The template of the original Wind Elf is almost the same as the Fire Elf. Except for different attributes and skills, everything else is identical. From now on, I'll call you Xiao Feng. Chen Yu had difficulty naming things, so she directly named the elf based on her attributes for convenience. On the attribute panel, the name of the elf changed to Original Wind Elf Xiao Feng. However, the elf remained motionless, seemingly unable to hear what Chen Yu was saying. Chen Yu patiently waited without disturbing her. But 1 minute passed, and she still squatted on the ground without any movement. 3 minutes passed, and she remained unchanged. After more than 10 minutes, Chen Yu couldn't help but poke her head. The elf raised a hand and smoothed her messy hair. Then she withdrew her hand and continued to cover her face. Xiao Yan, who was playing on the world tree, flew down and landed on Chen Yu's shoulder, curiously observing this new companion. After a few more minutes, Xiao Yan couldn't bear it anymore. She flew into Chen Yu's hand, grabbed Xiao Feng's hair, and forcibly pulled her up. "Oh, master." Xiao Feng half opened her eyes, looking at Chen Yu in confusion. "Can you see the master? Does that mean I've been born?" Chen Yu: "Yes, you've been born. Don't you know?" Xiao Yan asked in astonishment. "Oh, that's great." Xiao Feng nodded blankly and flew to Chen Yu's shoulder, looking ahead with empty eyes. "Why are you sitting there? Come and play with me." Xiao Yan excitedly pulled Xiao Feng's hand and dragged her away. Chen Yu looked bewildered, watching Xiao Yan play with Xiao Feng as if she were playing with a doll. The key point was that Xiao Feng cooperated the whole time without any resistance. She didn't even blink her eyelids. "Forget it, let them go." Chen Yu no longer paid attention to the two little elves and turned her gaze to her garden. The 20 vines and 10 poisonous lilies she planted last time had all evolved to the rare level. Judging from their condition, they would probably become epic tomorrow. This time, Chen Yu purchased 180 more vines, 90 poisonous lilies, and 200 man-eating flowers. Man-eating flowers were common level plants that could only be planted at level 30 and had strong combat capabilities. Mature man-eating flowers could directly devour a monster, slowly wearing down its health until it was killed. Ordinary planter, the most beloved plant life is the Venus flytrap. During leveling, summon a row of Venus flytraps, take a bite and run away, waiting for experience to accumulate. Although the efficiency is a bit slow, the advantage is that you can level up without getting hurt. After planting the seeds, Chen Yu opened his attribute panel. He is now level 43, with 420 free attribute points. The free attribute points were evenly distributed between physique and spirit, with 225 points in physique and 230 points in spirit. After allocating the points, Chen Yu felt unlimited physical and mental energy, and began to continuously release the accelerated growth skill to nurture plants. Outside River Sun City, Su Jungwei, the president of the professional association, led a group of River Sun City experts and advanced through the leveling area. Until, a large area of scorched earth appeared ahead. The air was hot and distorted, with occasional bursts of bright sparks. At this time, a brown bear spawned. Immediately, a blaze of orange flames erupted from its body. Within a few seconds, the brown bear howled and fell to the ground, dead. The powerful professionals looked at this hellish scene in silence for a long time. This kind of magical fluctuation, this scene. There's no mistake, it's the judgment of the apocalypse. After thinking for a long time, Su Jungwei spoke up. "Oh my god, judgment of the apocalypse. It's actually the judgment of the apocalypse." "Judgment of the apocalypse?" a young professional asked. "Is this magic famous?" "Don't you know? In the last national war instance, a forbidden existence from my soaring dragon empire used the forbidden curse judgment of the apocalypse to directly destroy the main city of the White Eagle Empire. The White Eagle Empire suffered heavy losses, with a large number of high-level professionals dying. It's estimated that they still haven't recovered. So, this incident is caused by that person. That throne of fire. No doubt about it. Besides that person, who else can use the terrifying power of judgment of the apocalypse? But why would Throne of Fire use judgment of the apocalypse in our insignificant River Sun City? Don't tell me it's for leveling. Hey, maybe they're just bored and came out to grind some monsters, reminiscing about their youthful spirit. Maybe this person is here to establish dominance. The mayor of River Sun City frowned. Dominance. Mayor Liu, if Throne of Fire just came to show off, they could establish dominance without using a forbidden curse, right? Could it be for that matter? Su Jungwei had a sudden realization. President Su, stop teasing us and just say it. Alright, I'll say it. Su Jungwei smiled bitterly, but I've only heard rumors, so I can't be sure. As we all know, Throne of Fire doesn't have a good relationship with our overlord of Frost in Cloud River Province. Recently, isn't it close to the college entrance examination? Our Soaring Dragon University has a fixed quota in each province. In Kyoto, There are many talented novice professionals this year, and the competition is fierce. A direct descendant of Throne of Fire's family happened to take the exam this year, but their strength is not outstanding in the Kyoto Circle. In order to enter Soaring Dragon University, they can only take the exam in another province. So, this doesn't make sense, President Su, a 4th-level warrior said. Even if Throne of Fire's descendant wants to come to our Cloud River, they wouldn't go to such extremes, right? Can't they just negotiate? The problem is, our Overlord of Frost in Cloud River also has a descendant taking the exam this year. Mayor Lu also said with a bitter smile. Oh, I know. Throne of Fire is warning Overlord of Frost that they are watching in Cloud River Province. Fair competition between the younger generation, right? But why did they choose our River Sun City to establish dominance? Because it's about establishing dominance, they just randomly chose a small city. If they were to cast judgment of the apocalypse at Overlord of Frost's doorstep, that wouldn't be establishing dominance, it would be declaring war. Why should our Cloud River Province's quota be given to those spoiled brats from Kyoto? They have no shame. You shut the hell up. That's a forbidden existence, can you just blabber about it? If you want to die, don't drag us down. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.